Hey, what's up? Welcome back, subscribers. It's me, Sab, here again with another episode of Suffering of Silence, and I've got sorry.
Carlos, Los. I've been called plenty nicknames, mainly Los and Grimace. That's it, you know.
I was just thinking about today, like, how did we even meet though? Like,
Yeah, I don't know, cause I was trying to trace it back too because I was talking to my friend about you about your podcast and they asked me, "Oh, well, how'd you guys meet?" And I really kind of got stuck, and I was like, "Damn, I don't know. Did we meet in a group or did we meet it online or something?" Because I know it was plenty of art involved back then. I was involved in plenty of painting and art,
yeah.
music, and anyone that was in that, that group, we just had
Yeah.
mutual friends.
And yeah, I mean, I appreciate you spreading the word about the pod because like it's definitely more of a word of mouth thing. But I think we probably went to high school together or something.
Something.
Because like I went to arts
I went to
for a
arts
little
too.
bit.
Yeah,
And we probably knew people from that. So that's probably what it is. And like, Milwaukee's so freaking small. Like
yeah.
literally
No.
the creative scene, everyone knows each other in some way.
Hmm.
Like me and my well, he doesn't like to call himself a photographer, but my photographer friend, he like we just started like doing like these shoots together and stuff. So it's been sort of like this is us just like stepping back into the creative space again because we haven't done this in like years.
Yeah.
And now like we're both getting like people are like hitting us up, like people are hitting me up like, hey, like let's shoot together. People are hitting him up like, hey, if you need a model. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like I was like, this is crazy how like everyone just knows each other in some way.
Yeah.
And now like the world is kind of like all circling back together. And I don't know, it's just so weird to me.
Yeah.
Like I guess I haven't been in a space like this in so long, but also I've never really like taken my craft as serious as I have now,
Right.
which sounds insane because I'm like, damn, I wish I would have done this sooner. Like I wish I did this like in my early 20s
I feel you.
because then like who knows where like it could have taken off. You feel me? And I'm just like,
Yeah, you kind of ask yourself like, what was I doing in my 20s then? You know what I mean? Because I was doing the same thing, like constantly just up, grinding, doing stuff. Whether it be in the studio or doing some type of art, some type of something.
yeah,
In a group. And some of us took off, others kind of like just went to real life. Had families and kids or
yeah,
jobs and stuff. And I'm real happy for those that got a foot in the door. But man, I'm one of those people that couldn't balance everything all at once. I had to pick something and just go for it.
yeah.
So I'm happy, like you said, like it's all revolving. The world's coming closer together. Milwaukee's fucking small, and so now it's like friends that I've met in my early 20s. I'm reconnecting with them now, just randomly and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that same here. And I mean, like, I feel like for me, I feel like what did I really do with my early 20s? Because honestly, I didn't settle down. I didn't have like a family. I literally just like ghosted everyone for like 10 years and came back to life and just there was like nothing to it. Like it was like I almost feel like I wasted my like I think that's something wow, that's probably like a crazy thing to admit to, but I feel like it almost that's probably why I feel like I wasted a lot of my time in my early 20s because I came out of this with essentially nothing to show for it. Like I don't have a family of my own. I don't have anything other than myself, you know? And a lot of people who maybe have gone ghost for like 10 years, they have something to show for it.
Yeah,
And it's not like I was grinding hard and like doing like making music or doing something creative. I mean, I was still being creative, just nothing like to an extreme capacity.
yeah.
So I'm like, maybe that's kinda why, like, I feel like I wasted a lot of my 20s just not doing anything because I came out with nothing other than some life lessons and shit like that.
That's something though. That's life lessons, experience, and all that. Some people can't relate to that, and they kind of live in this little cloud and shit, and they just keep on going and digging themselves deeper and shit. You know what I mean?
Y
You kind of get caught up in your own ego and your own, you don't let the quality show, and you do more quantity and shit. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So. I feel the same way too. I got so much shit done, but not a lot to show for it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you have your kids at least like to show for all of it. Like for me, I literally don't have anything and I'm like I mean, those are things that like I hope to have in the future, but that's like I mean, I'm so grateful that like I waited,
Yeah.
but at the same time I'm like, oh, what the hell did I do for like 10 years of my life other than just like
That's it.
fuck around? But I mean, I'm trying to is it like it feels bad that like I kind of feel like I'm trying to make up for all of those years that I was gone, but I'm also excited to kind of see where things go because I mean, there's people who make it at like they make it in the things that they're passionate about like years later, like
Definitely.
in the later parts of their life.
Definitely. Great example is Two Chains. Two Chains came back out. You know, he was Titty Boy, and then he came back out as Two Chains in his 30s, and you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Just took off. You know, Benny the Butcher, all them, the Griselda crew. They're all old. They're all like 30s and
Yeah.
40s, and you know what I mean?
That's fucking true. And Tizo touchdown.
There you go. Yeah.
That's my bae.
You know, they're out here making it work, making it pop, and it's really showing that it's really just about not just about, but you know, the quality is there for sure.
Yeah.
Because like again, you know, we've seen in the last 20 years, you know, what music's become, getting pushed out there, and they're not really looking scouting for anyone above 30, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, trying to market it, box it up and wrap it up, package it up to a younger crowd. That ain't gonna work.
But who's really I mean, who's really betting on getting a record deal nowadays? You know what I mean?
Yeah, not
Like,
anybody anymore.
exactly. So it's like, uh, it was really just like, I mean, I feel like personally, it was obviously those record deals and like those record labels setting the standard that like we need to get them younger and younger and younger
Yeah.
rather than just strictly talent and
Mm,
originality, you know? And I think nowadays with the internet, like use it to your advantage. As much as people hate
definitely.
the internet, like yo, like the internet can be your best fucking friend if you use the tool
Oh
proper
yeah.
if you use it as a tool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And like um I think that's what makes me super excited. Like and you know, obviously anyone I know everyone says this, but it's like
wrong too.
all good, all good, all good. Now I know everyone says this, but like I don't do the craft for the numbers. I don't do this shit just for the views or anything. Like I don't do it for that. I do it because it's just something like I like to do and I like to I obviously the real intention behind my pod is to just simply reach an audience that wants to have those critical conversations that are
Yeah,
very unconventional
definitely.
and I'm hoping that eventually I'll find that audience, you know? So it can get really discouraging when you see people like um I think I was having this conversation with someone recently, another artist. He's a visual artist. And so he is trying to like at some point he's like, yo, like I need to be making some money off of the shits that I'm doing because he's like he's a teacher. He does portraits like
Okay.
on the side and stuff. But he's like, I need to find a way to like really make money off of this, like make a living from this because this is what I love. Like who wouldn't want to?
Hmm.
And he's like, so he started doing things like he started posting like shit on YouTube or like YouTube shorts and stuff.
Okay.
And he's like basically repurposing other people's content and like reposting it on YouTube
All right.
and in his own way. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, like that shit literally shot up in views and like, you know, like it essentially went viral. And I'm like, bro, like he's like, you don't have to always make original content to make it on the internet. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, like that sounds excuse me, that sounds great and all, but I feel like I'm selling myself short by
Right.
doing that.
Yeah.
But when you look at shit on the internet, like the stuff that goes viral, quote unquote viral, or whatever the hell it is, like whatever standard people set as going somewhere on the internet, when you look at those things or that content, it's all repurposed shit. Like none of it is original shit.
Right.
And it like frustrates the hell out of me because I'm like sitting here, I'm working my ass off to find an original thought, an original idea, and like like create something that feels authentic to me. and it doesn't even get like the recognition I feel like it deserves.
Type shit.
So I think that's always been my frustration with creating shit in general,
Mm.
not just like with the pod, but like even with music. Like I get so discouraged with it, or like even with clothes, that all gets so discouraging. So I don't know. I don't know.
So then how do you like what will motivate you? Like what'll keep you going and you know what I mean? Because, you know, like you said, and that is very much true. When you try and create something original, it's kind of frustrating when you see other shit popping off or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day also, when you create something original, someone's gonna bite off that. Like whatever you lay out, whatever mold you put out there, someone's gonna want to take that and copy that too. You know what
That's
I mean?
facts. That's facts. And I think, what kind of keeps me motivated and going just to keep going. Like I could use upcycling stuff for example. I mean, upcycling is just one piece of what I enjoy doing when it comes to like, I don't know, I guess sewing and craft
Okay.
of that sort. But I really want to design things of my own
Hmm.
because, well, what really started me into like wanting to make clothes and like designing clothes of my own was because I wasn't able to find things that fit me the way that I want it to fit,
Okay.
because I have like a very specific body type that's like petite, and like I like things to be a certain way, and I feel like for petite women the only options we really have when we go shopping is like very revealing clothing, and it's like, but like I want to dress the way I want to dress. And so that's kind of what got me motivated into really taking more time to like learn to upcycle and sew things. But
Okay.
what keeps me going is every single time I run into like a challenging thing when I'm sewing something,
Mm.
and I'm learning as I'm fucking up, and I'm like learning a new technique, and I'm finding better ways to put pieces together. That's what keeps me going, because I'm
Okay.
like, yo, I fucked that up last time, but I'm doing better this time.
Type shit.
And it's like, oh my God, like I love this. Like that's literally what keeps me so intrigued in creating and sewing clothes. And like I remember when I first started really getting into like using my machine, I didn't realize that I needed a more heavy duty machine for some of the things I was doing, like with denim.
Mm.
Um, and there was like a really difficult piece I was making for someone. Because at this time I was kind of like being forced to like make clothes for this person. And so it was like a denim jacket, and like those skeletons, those glow in the dark skeletons that you like
Yeah.
buy at Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
So um we were sewing one of those onto the denim jacket.
Okay.
And so it looked like a literal like
Type
like
shit.
yeah, like that shit
That's
was,
hard. Okay.
yo, that shit was so fire. That shit was so fire. And I wish I would have taken more pictures and like saved that, cuz man, that thing was fire as hell. But I wasn't proud of it, cuz the way like my stitches were, or like just the small stuff that didn't look good in my opinion.
Mm.
I was like, I don't like this. Like it wasn't a proud moment for me. So I didn't really want to I didn't really want to like capture this moment in a picture, because I'm like, this shit is ugly. But one thing is that person definitely was always appreciative of everything I would make, even, well, I can't say everything, but most things, even when I felt like it was like the worst shit I've ever made.
Yeah.
I don't like the stitching, or I don't like the way that there were gaps in between certain
Mm.
places. This person still was like, it's the fact that you did it. Like, it looks
Yeah.
fucking good. And I'm like, yo, like, that was such a difficult piece for me to make, because the spaces, like, it was, it's not fabric. It's not material that you would typically use.
Denim.
Yeah. And like, I broke through so many needles, not realizing I needed a more heavy duty machine
Yeah.
and a heavy duty needle.
Right.
So that was one of the biggest lessons I had learned. Um, like really working with denim on my first machine.
Okay.
And but it got me so excited, because I'm like, okay, the next machine I buy, it's gonna be heavy duty. It's gonna, like, I'm gonna make sure I got all the shit I need, because like this is the type of stuff I love.
Are you into more like specific denims?
No, I love just about anything denim. Like right now, I was on like a really crazy denim kick over the summer.
Yeah,
Like I don't know, I spent the entire summer looking for like a specific denim vest that I wanted and just new jeans, like just everything new. Cause I'm like, I don't know, I was just ready for like a new wardrobe because jeans, like denim has always been something that I've loved, but I've never really like taken the time to like specify exactly what styles and what fits I like in it.
definitely.
Um, but that is I don't know what it is about denim, but it's just something that I love so much. Like I feel like it goes with everything.
It does. Like, and it's easy to work with. Sometimes you might use it for work if it's a heavy, really heavy starch denim or something.
Yeah,
Or if it's light, it's cool for like walking the park, you know what I mean? Depending on how hot it is and shit.
right?
But same thing. I've got like I got stacks of denim, like just stupid shit that I don't even wear anymore. But like I will bring out every once in a while because if I'm doing laundry,
Yeah,
like I'm gonna pick that pile out. You know what I mean? Like,
legit.
but like I've had some salvage here, some stone wash, some cold wash,
Yeah.
some different stuff. But what got me to look into it more was when I went to school in Chicago,
Mhm.
and I took a walk over on I forgot the park name already, but it was some off of Blue Line, and it was plenty of stuff to do out there. It was mainly like the young crowd, the young kids over there and shit, and college people. And I walked into a store, and it had like stuff categorized from like brands and just random shit. Like I don't know if you ever heard of a denim company. I can't even pronounce the name if it even. It's a WESC.
WESC.
Yeah, they
No.
were popular for a while, like for like the whole cool kids era, Kid Cudi era. That
Yeah.
that time, like everybody, that was their go-to. Or the what are that the G Star jeans or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Those were everyone's go-to too as
Yeah.
well. But they had beautiful denim for a while. I don't know how it is now. Jabos back then,
Oh
like
my God.
everyone had those, and they had different denims and all that. So I got into it just walking into that store, and I bumped into an alumni from my
Yeah.
high school, and she's like a few years older, but like she was out there trying to make it work with the music shit, and
Yeah.
she did really great. She actually ended up working there, and we caught up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how you been? How you doing? All that. She sold me a hat, and really introduced me to that world of like denim and selvage jeans and
Yeah.
things of that nature. So I was really appreciative of that. I think my favorite denim piece that I've ever owned was just a regular Levi. Like it
Yeah.
was from like the 80s. I got it from a thrift store they have plenty of thrift stores on that strip in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Plenty of them everywhere. I mean, I don't even go thrifting like that.
Oh my God, thrifting is my shit. I
Yeah.
love it so much.
I need
Like
to go more, honestly.
it's literally my favorite thing. And I mean, like, I think one kind of denim I don't fuck with is probably acid wash. I don't know. That kind of just gets me.
Acid washing.
Like I'm good on that. But I've been more into like it's really hard for me to find jeans that I like because again, like if I find stuff that actually fits me, it's not like real denim, so it's like that stretchy denim because
Okay.
they love to make that for women and it's difficult, but um like I've been really just into like a lot of wide leg jeans lately
Okay.
and boot cut jeans. Holy shit, those are my shits right now. And like anything with crazy details, like
Okay.
um I think in general, like as far as my wardrobe goes, I love incorporating a lot of crazy fabrics, like really fluffy fabrics
Okay.
or um adding certain things like certain details to places that you would never think to add. Like something I'm working on right now, I've been working on for a while is I found some like I don't know if you remember mud jeans.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes. So I found a pair of mud jeans when I was in Atlanta. And I just so happened to have been in Atlanta when they had ThriftCon. And so I
Oh
went.
snap.
Yeah, so I ended up having to buy a whole nother suitcase. I already had like
Mm.
2 suitcases on my way there because I had stopped in DC, went down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Then when I got to Atlanta, I was like, ThriftCon, shut the fuck up. Like if I don't go, this what the hell? Like
Yeah, that's to come up for
this is
real.
stupid. So I went and I was like, even if I don't buy anything, like just for the sake of like networking and like meeting people here, that's why I want that's really the only reason I should go.
Yeah.
And so I went and I ended up finding a pair of mud jeans and they were like boot cut and they had like little those little fringes on the bottom parts. It had like eyelets and then they put like these leather fringes on like through the eyelets
Okay.
like a shoelace.
Okay.
And I was like, "Damn, this is so nostalgic. Like I love this." And I was like, "But what if instead I put eyelets through the entire like all up and down the pant leg
Okay.
and just do an entire eyelet like just all through it?" I'm like, "Yo, that would be so fire." And so I've been working on it and I kind of fucked them up, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh
But
shit. You gonna redo them?
I'm gonna try my best to redo them. It's because 'cause I've never worked with eyelets before.
Okay.
It's only been a concept to me. And so now that I finally have this idea, I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it." And so I kind of fucked up with the eyelets, when I was first working on them, but now that I'm getting the hang of, like, working with eyelets, I'm like, "Okay,
Mm.
I can do this shit." And, I think at that same event, I ended up finding a pair of Guess, bootcut jeans too. I was
Yo.
like, "Dude, this is such a come up."
It's so hard to come across anything great from Guess right now because I go to the what is that, Gurney Mills, and they have a Guess store over there. I go to anywhere, I look up a Guess outlet and I'll go there, but it's really hard to find anything I like anymore. You know what I mean?
I know. And that's also why, like, I don't typically go to, like, thrift events like that because they don't typically have shit that fits me
Yeah.
or things that I like, but, I think one thing about, I've tried to change my mind about with thrifting is, like, am I really going to actually take on this project or am I not? Because, obviously, like, I could figure it out myself, like, that's all that's the reason I love sewing and, like, I love doing that shit because I'm like, I may not know what to do right now, but I have an idea and I'm gonna figure out how to rework this shit myself. But I think I've ended up piling up so many things that I just never get to that I'm like, if I don't actually go home and work on this in the next like week or 2 weeks, then I don't think I should do this. Like I don't think I should grab it.
But you have it in the arsenal and you should get to it though.
I
Like, you know,
know.
you have it ready. So that's the cool thing. Cause it's not, I mean, it's a thin line between, you know, just keeping shit in the arsenal and hoarding. But like, cause people would tell me all that, you know, shit like that all the time. I have emotional attachments to certain
Hell
things. You know what I
yes.
mean? Like certain shoelaces, even, or even like little clips. I don't know, like buttons or stickers, patches,
Yeah.
shoes, even. You know what I mean? I got emotion, so I'll like stock it all in a closet, and like my daughter will come across it and be like, "What's this? When'd you get this?" And this and
Yeah.
that. I'm just like, "Yo, that's your dad's old shit from high school, or that's you
Yeah.
know, that's it's still good. It's still good. I still wash them, still clean them. Like I'm so into fat laces that I've just ordered all kinds of colors, all kinds of like just lengths and shit.
Yeah.
And so I keep them ready. And every time I get a new shoe, I just gotta relace them like all the fucking time and shit.
Yeah. And I love that shit. Like honestly, I wish that so this summer I'd been talking about it for like the entire year almost. Ever since I got back from Atlanta, like I was like, you know, I'm going to start purging through my closet and like really clearing shit out
Mm.
because I am like tired of all this old stuff that I have and I'm like I want to completely flip my wardrobe around because a lot of the shit that I have is from like high school
Yeah.
and even some stuff from middle school because I haven't really changed in size in so long. So I'm like, I should just get rid of a lot of this stuff and like so just throughout the summer I just started going through my stuff and just like putting things in bags and
Yeah.
like giving it away. And the other day we had me and my friend, my photographer friend, we did like a little like 80s inspo shoot
Okay.
and I was looking for a specific pair of jeans. You know Jordache, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yo, like I had 2 pairs of Jordache jeans And I had one pair that actually fit me pretty well, and they were starting to fit a little snug. And so I threw them in the bag like a dumbass. And so the Jordache jeans that I have left are too big.
Mm,
And those jeans would have been so perfect for this shoot because I'm like, Jordache. I mean, I know it was a little more popularized in the 70s,
right.
but like it's still like that authentic, like vintage feel. And I just love the way that those fit me, and I'm like, "Why the fuck did I throw those in that bag?" And that's what gets me
Eh,
every time when I start purging my shit out, and I'm like, "Dog, I could have used that now, I could have used that then," and I'm like, "Fuck." But I ended up finding, like, another pair of, actually, the first pair of, thrifted high-waisted jeans that I got, I think I was, like, 16 when I bought these,
okay.
'cause I was like this was way before mom jeans became, like, super
Oh yeah,
popularized.
yeah.
And I was like, you know, I kind of want to bring this style back. Like, I want to try this. And I still remember putting these jeans on for the first time. So the brand was like Bongo.
I remember Bongo.
Yeah, I still have them. Still have them. And they still fit me all right. They're, I'm finally starting to gain a little bit of weight since I've been in the gym more. But
You been eating, huh?
I've been trying to eat, you know. And I was so upset. So I remember putting these jeans on. I was 16 and I was like, I want to experiment a little bit with this style and like maybe bring back some like real 80s, 90s type of aesthetic. And we were 16 walking downtown one day. Like,
Right.
I don't know why the fuck we were walking on Water Street at night, but we were walking on Water Street at night. And I
At
had on
16.
at 16 at fucking 16. And so I had these jeans on and everyone's like it was like some I will never forget because I just thought it was so funny because now it's such a popular thing.
Mm,
Someone was like, "Oh, why you got them ugly ass mom looking ass jeans on?" or some shit along those lines. And
yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck?" Like then I started to feel real self-conscious because I'm like, "Yo, maybe I'm doing like maybe I shouldn't start wearing these."
Maybe I'm doing too
Yeah,
much.
like I was like, maybe I'm not doing the right like maybe I'm not doing this right. And I was like, damn, because now, like, if I would've just stuck with what I felt like was just cool for me, like, look at it now, like, literally, mom jeans were, like, the thing for the last, like, 10 fucking years.
Yeah, it's a thing now. Now it's like that's all that's on the racks now, on the
Yeah.
shelves. Like when you go to any retail store, that's the only specific cut available. Anything that's like 10 inches wide or some shit, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? For your boot cuts, even your typical jeans and shit. You might get, for guys, I see a lot more tapered shit, and then either tapered or boot cut, and that's it. Like nothing in between. So it's kind of difficult for me to shop for jeans. I'll literally just online, like,
I kind of I feel like I have because like I obviously dress based off my mood. So it's so hard for me to like figure out exactly what I want to wear. So I kind of keep a little bit of everything in my closet. So that's kind of why like I kept the bongos cuz I'm like maybe one day I'll need these.
type shit.
And eventually I did, but I'm very much like I kind of strayed away from like wanting to wear skinny jeans. Probably like 2018, 2019. Like
Okay.
I started to really like I was like, I think I'm over wearing skinny jeans right now. Like I started going more like a straight leg
Okay.
and then
Straight legs are nice. I had a lot of those for sure.
yes.
Definitely.
And as time kept going on, like then I started to get more into like baggier jeans and like
Yeah,
I feel like in these modern stores, like they have like boyfriend jeans for girls and
definitely. Yeah,
I don't fuck with those like that because they're still not the same. Like they still don't fit the same as far as like what I'm looking for. But now I'm like super heavy into like wide leg jeans and boot cuts, and I think also skinny jeans were a thing in high school because
definitely are high school for sure.
like I
Oh
mean
yeah.
I started wearing skinny jeans in like middle school because I started hanging around like all the skaters and that
Right.
was all the fuck they would wear.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Oh shit, skinny jeans are tight." And then I don't know, I just was like, I don't really fuck with skinny jeans like that anymore. Like I kind of fuck with little wider legs, but I kind of said something to my friend the other day. I was like, "Bitch, if a guy's jeans fit tighter than mine, then I can't fuck with him. Like, I'm sorry. That's I mean, I can't believe I used to think that that was so fly on a guy. Like, what the fuck was my problem?
Just sag them a little bit and shit.
Like,
Yeah.
yes, they're out here looking like lollipops and shit. Like, what is going on?
Just top heavy kids and shit. Like,
Yeah.
in high school, that was the place to do it, though, and time to do it. I mean, I didn't give a fuck what I wore or put on, honestly. I mean, I bought plenty of Echo Unlimited jeans and shit. Plenty of those. Like, I had really cool back pockets.
I still have some. I love my Echo jeans. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah. I mean, back in the day, I had like this, I had the little, I think it was also like I had like that emo, I mean, I don't even want to call it a phase, but the little alt period of my
I
life.
feel you.
So skinny jeans were definitely, definitely in for me then. But I mean, it's so crazy like how style is so subjective and like
Definitely.
how much
Oh,
it
yeah.
evolves, like, and also like people we have to I try to consider like everyone, like not everyone's body type suits what I would consider to be stylish.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I
And
feel you.
like I just wish I could find more I wish I could find more people like-minded as me, like when it comes to style and like just the way we dress.
Right.
Because I feel like I haven't run into like people that can really resonate with me and relate with me, because that is something that I love talking with people about and I love bonding with people about is clothes. Like, I mean, I know it's, excuse me, like it's material shit, but to me, like it's a lifestyle for me. Like I love that type of shit. And I don't want to do what's trendy either. Like I want to just do what I feel like is fun and looks
Definitely.
great.
It affects moods. It affects like it's part of like your uniform every day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like even if it ain't the same, you're not. The Simpsons wears the same shit every day. If you're
Yeah.
not doing that, like it's like I said, your uniform. It's your mood. It's how you feel that day during that time. Sometimes some people can't afford nicer shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that definitely affects moods and just how you hold yourself, walk and talk, and how you
For sure.
present yourself. So I mean, like I'm definitely thankful for what I got. I work
Yeah.
a lot for my shit, and
Yeah.
I keep a lot of my shit nice. So like people will look at me and be like, you're buying new shoes, or you're like, no, I keep my shit clean. Like
Yeah.
I know how to take care of my shit.
Yeah.
I got jeans that I've had for 10 years that still look brand fucking new.
Yeah.
People don't know that certain jeans you're not supposed to like wash and get
Yeah.
wet and shit. I don't know. What do you do to clean your jeans?
So honestly, I'm a terrible person when it comes to my jeans. I actually do wash them, but I don't wash them as frequent.
Right.
People, I know it sounds disgusting, but I probably wash my jeans depending on which ones they are. I literally have an entire pile of jeans that I've worn over the last month
Yeah.
that and I just go through that pile once a month to see like what's really dirty
Hmm.
and what I need to wash.
Right.
But I really try not to wash them as much, and especially drying them.
Right.
Um,
Hang dry.
yeah.
See, like I know it sounds wild to say, like I've had jeans that are like 10 years, and you're like, whoa, you didn't wash them? Like, no, like here's the thing, like if I get a stain on them and it's like a raw selvage denim, like I'm just gonna throw those out, like and get a new pair. You know what I mean? But if
Yeah.
it's like I'm just wearing them out to like a bar or a party and shit like that. I'm not gonna wear them every day or every week or every month. Like
Mhm.
those are just back in a closet, and I'm
Mhm.
back in dad mode, working either jogging pants or work pants. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, a great way to clean them, I've heard, and I've done, and you know, been doing it for like a little bit less than a year now, is I keep them in the freezer,
Oh, nice.
like ice cold temp in the freezer, and like when you take them out, yeah, they're rock hard, like they're
Yeah.
frozen and shit.
Yeah.
But when you wring them, like all the ice fucking pops off your jeans, and whatever small stain might have been on your jeans is frozen. It falls right off.
Shut the hell up. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and it eliminates any odor if there is an odor on your jeans. Like it's
Yeah.
just brand new.
Damn, I'm gonna have to try that because I had like these I had these jeans that I got while I was in LA, and they got like a stain on them because I wore them to work.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure out, I don't know if it was from work or I feel like it was my detergent,
Mm,
because detergents will fuck
they
your
will.
clothes
They
up.
will.
You got to be careful about that type of shit. So it's been sitting like it just won't come off. Like I've tried stain removers and
Right.
like shit like that. It just hasn't come off. So
Well, like here's one thing: if it's not a salvage denim, don't even try. You might as well just throw them in the washer because, like, for some reason, the salvage denim's more tougher.
yeah.
And whatever the hell they use, I think that's part of the reason why it's easier to clean in
Yeah.
the freezer because that stuff will literally lay on top of your salvage. So like I cook a lot and I'll get like stains on my jeans and shit.
Yeah.
I'll throw them in the freezer and it takes literally like a whole week, honestly, like a whole week to get it all done and clean and shit. I pull them out and I'll like scratch off whatever stain is on my jeans.
Crazy.
Brand fucking new.
Crazy. I'm gonna have to try that for sure. I I think damn. Like if I really want to I really want to design my own pair of jeans and like I want to just buy like a bulk of denim
Yeah,
and just like make some shit myself.
do it.
I really want to do that. That's probably something I plan to do in the next couple of months here. But it's like honestly, some of my favorite shit used to be well, it used to be a lot of like plaid and flannels and now I think I've kind of again, like I've been super into like just random prints, random fabrics, like fuzzy shit
Yeah,
or corduroy. Oh my God, I had an obsession with corduroy
yeah.
like ever since high school. Like I've always had an obsession with corduroy. And I went to so when I was in Portugal this summer, I
Okay.
stopped at this skate brand. I stopped at their shop and I mean, maybe it's more common out there, but I don't I don't know how, but like I walk in the shop and like the brand owner, they're just like sitting there. They're super interactive. Like I wasn't expecting them to like come up to me and talk to me and actually like give me a true shopping experience.
Hell yeah.
And like they were just like having a whole full-blown conversation with me and I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." I'm like, "The brand owner? Like this is crazy. Like you're just sitting here in the fucking shop actually working with customers."
Yeah.
And like what really what really intrigued me was like he does a lot of shit with denim like with what am I saying?
Corduroy?
Corduroy and like he makes like duffels, he makes bags, he makes like vests, he makes anything and everything you can think of with corduroy. And I'm like, "Yo, I fuck with this shit heavy. Like I love
Corduroy
it."
duffel.
Yes, and
The
like
corduroy duffel. That's nice.
I was like, I think I'm gonna have to go and I'm gonna have to order some shit because I mean I didn't want to like go overboard
Oh
and
yeah.
come back with too much stuff. But I just got like a few pieces. Like I got a small little bag and
Okay.
like a wallet to match. And then I bought like a vest from his shop
Okay.
and like yo, he was cool as fuck. Like we were talking about we started talking about music and I started putting him onto like some Milwaukee shit.
Yeah.
And
Walking
like,
music.
yeah, he was, and like,
Hey.
yo, like, I see, like, when people talk to you about music, like, sometimes, like, people don't, because there's so much music out there in the world.
Yeah.
He literally sat there, he pulled out his phone and, like, starts listening to the shit that I'm telling him about.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, I actually fuck with this." Oh, yeah, I fuck with this. And I'm like, "This is crazy." I'm like, "There's no way. Like, you're just sitting here, like, you're actually
Fuck.
listening to what I'm saying to you. Like, this is insane."
That might have been whoever you showed, that might have been their first fucking, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
introduction to Spain or Portugal, I mean.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Yo, like, this is crazy." Like, I mean, who doesn't love to travel, you know what I mean? Like, traveling is seriously one of the best m it's seriously one of the best privileges to ever have in this world. But, like, to go overseas to Europe in general, like, to see how different shit is out there and how amazing people are, like, so receptive to the things that you talk about and, like,
Yeah.
the shit that you do is insane. Like, I mean, I was so blown away by, like, just how welcoming everyone was. Because 'Cause I'm like, I just walk into, like, a shop and just start having a whole conversation with the brand owner. Like
That's fucking dope.
he always shows love, like, if I that's also why, like, I wanna buy more pieces from him because 'cause I'm like, every time I post anything about him or I, like, tag some shit with his brand, he's always, like, showing love,
Okay.
and I'm like, I really should just, like, keep like, I really wanna keep supporting him because I feel like even in our own city, like, it's not like that.
It ain't. It really ain't.
Like, it's such a dog eat dog world in this city alone, like, it's truly a crab in a what the fuck is the quote? It's
Crab in a bucket.
crab in a bucket, type of place. Like people do not ever want to see anyone else thriving or doing better than the other. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way.
No,
Like,
it don't. I mean, now it's I've noticed a little bit more change. I see a little bit more artists working with each other more here. I don't know what the hell. That's just recently, literally, like because it never used to be like that. I'm seeing a little bit more like hustling going on as far as medias, and so we got more collabs going on as far as like just even people making Instagram reels or even you know what I mean, music just getting dropped, music videos. I'm seeing a little bit more shows being developed now, promoters putting Milwaukee artists that people actually listen to on the
yeah,
venue or on the set. But like literally, like last year, it was not like that. It was like people just throwing shade. It was honestly awkward to go to a show and get invited from a DJ friend, and then go to another set, and your friend can't come with because that DJ guy,
beef
doesn't.
with
The beef is so weird, and it's just like, man, I'm just a guy just enjoying, the music, what's
yeah,
provided. I'm not in here for the personal politics and all that stuff. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So like with the whole uh dog eat dog world, like when I was coming up, I was part of the graffiti kind of kids and shit
yeah,
growing up, and I jumped into the music, doing beats, doing DJ sets here and there,
yeah,
mainly just producing and making beats. It was really hard to collab with anybody
yeah.
growing up.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like I've noticed a shift in the creative spaces here lately. But also I've been out of those spaces for so long.
Yeah.
And but like from what I've seen so far in the last year since I've kind of resurrected again, I'm noticing that there's a lot more unity
Yeah.
and like professionalism in what people are doing
Mm,
here in our city, which I love. I love to see it. But I feel like what it I almost can I might be wrong about this because again, I'm just observing, but I feel like when certain artists were finally like really getting the fame and the recognition for their talent and they were going more um nationwide with their shit,
right.
that's when all the competition really started to like get heated.
Right.
Um like, back in when was it? It was like when I was like 2021. So that was probably I can't even do the math in my oh, like 2015, 2016. That's when like I think like Ishtar,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
first started like really going places
Right.
and there was like another group, New Age Narcissism. That was kind of like their era.
Nan.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was I think that's when things started to really it was great to see that happening, but I feel like that's when a lot of competition started to get real heated because people were actually making it, and like
I think, man, all these names, Ishtar, New Age Narcissism, Wave Chappelle, all that, like, man, memories just.
yeah,
Definitely, I remember that time. That was a wild time.
that
Great
was
time. Great time, though.
that was
Ishtar's still out here, too.
I think I've seen him out a few times, but he probably doesn't remember. Like I don't even know him like that. Like I just know I probably had one conversation with him
Yeah.
ever in life, and it was on it was some wild shit. Okay, like I think I was like so I was dating an artist at the time,
Yeah.
a visual artist, and he he does mostly portraits, with pen or pencil
Mhm.
only, and he does the craziest little details. This is why I fucked with his shit. Like he did like well, he's done a few portraits of me, but he made me an Absol portrait
Okay.
that was literally dots.
Oh, shit.
Fucking dots with the pen. And I was like, "Yo, this shit's fire." And someone ripped my shit up. But anyways, so
Wow. Someone going to hell.
I I swear, yo.
Damn.
But
Damn.
I was like, yo, at that time I was like, oh shit, like so I had the conversation with Ish and I was like, yo, like my boyfriend he does portraits and shit. Like you should hit him up because maybe he could do like a cover for you. Like he does really different shit. Like it's not like painting or
Yeah.
like he does very specific he uses very specific things when he does his pieces. And I was like, you might actually fuck with this stuff. So that was probably like the only conversation I really had with him. And I was like, that's so random of me. Like, what the fuck was I on? Like, I was just out here talking to random ass people, like, yo, putting motherfuckers on to each other.
Networking though.
Now, exactly. And I'm like, I'm literally just a nobody, but okay, like, this is kind of fun. Um, but I think one of my favorite things about like that era was like people were definitely more open and receptive to like having conversations with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody wanted to get on, man.
everyone wanted to get on for sure. And I'm like, now I feel like everyone is it's I mean, we're all getting to an age where just like how I started saying, like I feel like I'm too old to be chasing my dreams and aspirations. But I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way because we're all at that age where we're like in our 30s and stuff. And it sounds easier to give up than it is to like keep going.
That's true, but then are we really too old? Like, are we just setting ourselves up? Like, are we just like, like shooting ourselves down when we say things like that, you know?
I feel like that definitely is the case because I feel like regardless, one thing about me is like clearly I'm a certified yapper. I'm always gonna talk to people. So my favorite thing to do is to network and just like meet people. And you just never know who you meet. And
Yeah.
it's never about like I truly, truly believe that it's never about how many people you know, but who
Yeah.
you know in the world. Cause you could literally know this one person that can actually put you the fuck on if that's really what you want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but again, I don't do this for the fame. I do this for the fun, you
Yeah.
know? And if this person literally sees that passion in me and is like able to help me like share this passion with the world,
Hmm.
fuck it, let's do it, you know?
Definitely.
Um and I feel like that's the one mindset like I've tried to really break out of because I feel like that's a commonality like here in Milwaukee is like they always feel like, oh, if this person doesn't have the clout or this person isn't, you know, so and so, like there's no point in like collaborating with them or there's no point in working with them or they feel like they're too good to work with those individuals.
Right.
And I'm like, it's I mean, we're all in the same fucking place still.
Type,
You
yeah, in
know,
the
like
same boat, for real.
we're not fucking going anywhere by doing that to each other. So,
Right. To try and flex like that you're wealthy and you choose to live here, you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's fucking like it's kind of a little bit wild. If I was like really making it like that, I'm not living in my city. I'm gonna come visit my city.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is how I feel.
Yeah.
Um, in the future though, I do want to see this shit keep going. I just don't want to. I don't want this thing to be a run. I want Milwaukee artists, whether you're drawing, painting, making music,
Yeah.
recording, making whatever visual,
Yeah.
graphic, like we all kind of need to stick together and work together. We see some shit happen, with stores. Uh, I don't know how familiar you are with like a lot of like the Milwaukee like retail scene and people making pop-up shops and shit.
Yeah.
But people are doing that more pop-up shops and they're inviting artists to rap or
Yeah.
DJ even, you know what I mean? Even gallery nights. I don't know, have you been to a gallery night?
I haven't been to a gallery night yet. No.
No?
I definitely want to try
The
it.
last one I went to was pretty nice. It was a few years ago though. I'm way out of the scene now, but so I got in, fucking didn't know anybody, ended up leaving out with like 10 numbers to like network and
Yeah.
make music with and shit during that time, and it was lovely. Hopefully it's still the same way, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, with your spaces and things of that. You're in this to have fun. Have you ever found yourself in a situation during networking where you're just trying to like opt out, like pull out, like get me the fuck out of here?
I'm trying to think if I have, because I mean, like I said, this is all very new to me still. Like, I haven't done this in years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say, see, like the hard thing, I feel like for me is like, I think people sometimes get the impression, like, especially, I feel like as a woman in general,
Mm.
I wish I had more women that were in the creative spaces that I was closer to because I want to have these like conversations with them about like how does it feel to like be networking out here in our city as a creative person, as a creative woman because I feel like most of the time um because it is mostly a male dominant like place and like or space I should say. And so they get these impressions that like, oh, she's just a fangirl or she just wants to like, like they
Yeah.
think like something more than just like they don't respect women as much as I feel like they should. Um as as they what's the fucking word? But they don't see you as someone who is equally creative as you.
Okay.
Like they may look at you as someone who's more interested in you in a romantic sense or something more than that. And
Jeez.
I feel like it's so I mean, that's just my perception. And that may not be the case for other women here in Milwaukee, but um I get really reserved in those spaces because of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
But this also might be due to like some trauma and shit with like my ex cuz he was a rapper
Yeah.
and he would say shit like he wouldn't allow me into like the creative spaces or like when my friends would have like performances or shows or things of that nature like I couldn't keep up with any of my friends that were in the creative spaces because to him it was like it would look like I'm just being a fangirl of
Right.
someone else, or whatever the fuck his mental shit was. But so it kind of scares me to go back into those types of spaces because I'm like, I don't want to come off as just some random girl that's like,
Damn.
ooh, like I'm
Yeah.
I'm here to just like cheer you on. Like, no, like I'm literally here because like I want to network. I want to meet people on a different level. Like people don't and I feel like some people don't respect women in that way, in that capacity. But I feel like I'm a very approachable person. Like I love having intellectual conversations and like I like actually I don't know, I like that type of space, but I feel like here it's like you're only respected if you're someone's girl or you're, like linked to someone in that way and I feel like it should be more than that.
Definitely. Definitely. I kind of um when I was networking back in my music making days, like I don't know what kind of vibe I gave off back then, but I've always was just like talkative, always wanted to network, always wanted to do something. Like I want to not just be here with the drink in my hand, you know what I mean, meeting people. I want to be like, hey, studio tomorrow, next week or whatever. Let's set something up. Let's do something. Like it's cool. We can get drunk and high, whatever the fuck during this time. But like, let's do something. Like we're making music. You're a rapper or you're a DJ or you're a promoter. Let's make some shit happen. And like I've noticed that when I've tried to connect with certain people, I get the cold shoulder because again, like um am I coming off as a fanboy? Am I coming off as a motherfucking dude that's just, wanting to get on because you got a certain clout or some
Yeah.
shit? You know what I mean? So it's very difficult to navigate that type of lane and shit when it comes to music. Is it like the same way podcasting? Because you've done traveling for this, right?
A little bit. I mean, honestly, I so like when I talk about it, I mean, yeah, like I do talk about it with people and like I make friends outside of Milwaukee and stuff and people are they're just so receptive to like hearing about it
Mhm.
and they're it's great, you know what I mean?
Right.
And like I want to be able to do those spaces here in Milwaukee and I wish we could have more like events where they were curated specifically to network. Like it's not like okay, it would be great to have like live performances of Milwaukee artists as well, but specifically curate these events where we have like a nice ambiance of like talking and conversation and like
Yeah.
everyone's here because we're motivated to network with each other and work with each other and learn about each other's craft. And like it's great like some of the people that I've met have been like I've gone to a lot of Pure Moss's
Okay.
events this year and I've met some great people there, and some creative people for sure as well. But I haven't really met a lot of people in like the podcasting space
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
And so I'm still excited to like kind of see where that goes. 'Cause
Right.
I mean, I just started it. I just started doing this more. And so I'm like, I can't wait to see where that takes me. But just in general, having people who are just creative and
Mhm.
in different aspects of their life, like that's just what I want.
Okay.
And I wish like we could curate something like that. Because I mean, I think I went to earlier this year. I went to like a performance, one of my friends' performances, um, and I think it was thrown by like Promises.
National.
Yeah, like
Okay, yeah.
at Promises, and it was fuck, what was it called? I forgot. But they were curating events like that where they had live performances and shows,
Okay.
and I love that they were doing that. And I love how they're able to get people together and like network that out to the world. But I would, like I said, I would love to see us as a city kind of like put together like um a more sophisticated event where we are literally just truly there to network. Like,
Yeah.
because I feel like people have the impression that, especially in those types of spaces, like romantic interests can get convoluted with creativity.
Definitely. That's a thing where I've kind of had a difficulty with navigating because like I said, I'm very self-conscious. I'm very like I keep to myself, and so I'm very like if I make someone feel a certain way, I'm difficult on myself. I'll like shut down and like let me walk away. Like let me get the
Feel
fuck
you.
away.
Feel you.
I'm like, what the fuck did I do? What the fuck did I say? How did I come across? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like I literally shut down. So that's part of the reason why I stopped going to places and trying to network and shit like that. I've let too much of my personal past traumas kind of like fuck with me in
Yeah.
that. And so like we do need to curate spaces like that because we all need to have the same middle ground, the same way of thinking, people with like minds and shit like
Yeah.
that want to actually work and do shit,
Yeah.
because like you said, to add on to that, um growing up trying to do the music thing, the person that I was dating did not like me to try and network and go out to these places, or you know what I mean? Hey, you're just a producer. You just making beats. Why are you at this concert? You're not rapping. You're not, on stage. Why are you there?
Yeah.
Los, why are you there? Well, yeah, I'm just trying to connect and get more people to rap on my shit, get more
Right.
people to even like push me out there and shit more. So
Right.
it was very difficult to even bring, at times I would have to bring, now my ex, that person to the shows,
Right.
and it would constantly be a shit show,
Yeah.
like constantly be embarrassing. I would
Mhm.
have to walk out and be like, all right, like I'm not gonna argue out here. Like this is stupid.
That's funny. That's so funny that you do mention that because it's like, so like, I mean, I understand, like, for me, like with my ex, we would go to certain things. Like the only time I ever really went with him into like a space like that was like if it's something that I essentially kind of like created this connection for.
Yeah,
So I got us connected to some peoples that are pretty pretty up there in the music industry right now, and he so he had actually he's a tour manager for someone. And so he literally we went out to LA. We've been out to LA a few times at this point, and we've like linked up with him.
okay,
And at this point though, we specifically drove out there for like around Christmas. And he was like, "Yo, there's going to be a show like on Christmas that is like in fucking Santa Ana, I think it was.
okay,
I don't know. Basically, we or San Diego. It was in San Diego. So he's taken us to a few different shows at this point, and like, um, so we drive down to San Diego from LA, and like I'm just literally getting dressed because I'm like, like this is an event. Like I want to feel good about myself. And he starts fucking bitching me out about how like I'm wearing makeup and how like he's like, why do you feel like you need to look cute just to go to this show? And he's like, it's not like you do anything anyways. Like you're not like he's
god
basically
damn,
yeah, I was like, oh shit. I
shit,
was like, whoa, first the fuck off. Like you wouldn't
damn,
even be here. You wouldn't even have this fucking opportunity to network with
type
these
shit,
people if it wasn't for fucking me. Like, let's not even go there. And I was like, you know what? But I never really want to take credit for shit because I'm like, your talent speaks for itself, bro. Like, that's why the fuck I do what I do for you,
yeah,
bro. Like, it's not because you're my boyfriend. Like, I literally fuck with your music and I love, like, yeah, I feel like you're so talented and I want to help you, like, elevate this.
yeah,
And, like, that shit hurt. Like, I couldn't get over my personal feelings of how fucking hurt I was that
yeah,
he would say those things to me. But it's like, we get there and I'm just like, I'm just pissed the whole fucking time. I don't want to talk to anyone. And he's always like telling me how he's like, like I want you to be like damn near my number one fan and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, like, but when I go to spaces like this, what do you think I'm doing? I'm not fucking talking to these people just to talk to these people. I'm talking to these people about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, are you crazy? Like, I've
Yeah.
always been your number one supporter. Literally had your back and like fucking getting you out there to people that I don't like. I'm approaching fucking celebrities with
Yeah.
your fucking music. Like, I used to go so hard for him. And I'm like, for you to say shit like that to me is crazy. So, like, I get what you mean, but on like a different level. Like, it's more of like, I understand what you mean, like having to bring your significant other with. And that's why for me, like when I typically date artists, unfortunately, when we're out in public settings, like I don't mind that we're talking to other people, we're having different conversations. Like I'm not that clingy of a person that
Yeah.
I need to be in every conversation that you're in. Like
Mhm.
we don't even have to be near each other, but just understand that you need to know that you're secure enough with me that I'm not out here talking to people like to just talk to them. Like I'm talking to them about you. I'm talking to them about your
Right.
craft. You know what I mean? And like I'm that fucking person. You know what I mean? And I'm not just some random bitch that's just here to stand beside you and
Right.
look good. You know what I
Get some
mean?
work done.
Exactly. Like I'm getting the fucking work done for you. But as much as he would say like that's what he wanted from me, when I would try to be that for him, there was always an issue. There was always something um there would always be a fucking issue with me doing that. And like
Hmm.
he would just immediately start to think like I'm just there to fangirl over the other artists or like be thirsting for attention. And I'm
Right.
like, yo, that's literally the last thing on my mind. If I'm getting attention, I'm using it. I'm exploiting the attention I'm getting to use on you.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? So that's kind of like where my trauma goes, like when it comes to like going to spaces like that.
Mhm.
And I feel also like going to shows where there's liquor involved, like I know like it is great to have like shows and performances more in at night, but I'm like,
Yeah.
can we like change the ambiance of things? Like, let's not do it in a bar. Let's do it in like a really nice lounge of sorts and like do it more sophisticated where we all know the intention here is to
Yeah.
network,
Yeah.
not just to watch the performance and like um not just be here for fun. Like we're here to network and actually get somewhere in a creative space.
Right.
So I feel like, some people go into those types of situations or go to performances like that to like they don't go in with that mindset.
No, and a lot of people go in just to get numbers or trying to hook up, trying to see who's gonna fuck with who and shit. It's
Exactly.
it's it's pretty crazy. I think the last one of the shows I went to, um, I don't really go out much to shows like that. So when I do, I'm gonna I want a drink or something, a drink or two. I might cut myself off at 3, but like if it's 4, like I'm just Ubering home. I'm out the show. The last shows I went to, say it was like last year or yeah, like last year. But then last year, just a whole different vibe. I'm so out of it. I'm so like just not in like I'm probably the oldest one there in the room and shit. It was just so fucking weird. Bumped into uh bumped into an ex.
Mm,
One of my exes that just did not want me to make music with any singers, any female artists.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like that was a weird situation, and there was a lot of talent that I had to like kind of like look over and be like, I can't really work with you, or this girl is not gonna allow me. Which I didn't say it like that, but I was just like,
yeah.
she's not gonna allow me right now. Like it's kind of like difficult right now to navigate a space where we're alone in the studio with that type of trust because I got some insecure, you know, person in a relationship with me, kind of messing things up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I couldn't do all that back then. I think right now though. I'm way, way better as far as like handling my shit, as far as like who I'm gonna be around and who I'm gonna date,
Mhm.
because if I see little red flags like that, like insecure red
Yeah.
flags, I'd rather just be cool with you and we can hang out. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't got to date or anything.
Right. And it's never that like I'm not in like it's never that I wasn't insecure, you know, because like sometimes I feel like I had reason to be because
Yeah.
I mean obviously looking back now realizing like how often he was cheating on me and like talking to other girls, um I had reason to be insecure.
Yeah.
But I'm also like if I feel like we have that good foundation, like I would never just be that fucking insecure person that's spazzing on you at like a fucking show.
Mm.
Um, but for that specific event, like, yeah, of course I'm fucking spazzing out because you just came at me crazy to call me insecure and to call me like basically a thirsty attention hoe when I'm here for you.
Yeah.
You know, like I set this whole shit off for you, bro. Like,
Mm.
and I'm always going to like I recently dated someone that's an artist. And we were at like a public event and he had like a girl like all over him. But like it was something like very casual. Like, you know, I wasn't like it was like my boyfriend or something.
Right.
But I was just like, dear thing, like I don't care. This girl's like literally trying to fuck you right now, like in
Right.
front of my eyes. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here at the bar. I'm literally watching it happen and I'm laughing because I'm like, it's crazy because it's like at the end of the day, like I know like you're not going home with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh shit.
You can literally make her you could let her touch all over you if that's
Right.
really what it takes to make someone listen to your fucking music because that's what you want. Like,
Right.
I'm really not that insecure, but I feel like I can be I can be like literally the chillest fucking person to date as an artist.
Mm.
I could literally be the chillest girlfriend ever, but they always take that as a way to exploit on me and like use that to their advantage. I'm not saying like it's okay to cheat on me, but I'm saying like I know it comes with the territory. Like when you make music or when you're just an artist in general, like it comes with the territory that there's gonna be women, there's gonna be people who literally lust after you.
That's the thing with the young kids nowadays too. The young crowd and the whole like open relationship shit.
Yeah.
So I've been like asked to open a relationship before,
Okay.
and that was like I don't know how to take that because it's just like I mean, maybe if I was younger, yeah, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? In my younger years, like 18, maybe early 20s, I
Mhm.
would have been open to that maybe, but like, as I'm getting older, it's just like, do I really want to open a relationship and then have that type of like stress too? Because that's going to be a stress too. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about just being safe in general,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or we're talking about just being responsible if you have kids or not, you know what I mean? Being
Yeah.
responsible. Like, have you ever been asked to open a relationship?
Yeah, definitely. That relationship with my ex, who's my abuser as well. He he asked to have an open relationship and that's not what I wanted. Like I've never wanted an open
Yeah,
relationship, you know? Me being more like lax about
yeah,
girls fanning over you is different from me actually wanting to open up our relationship in
okay,
any capacity. Like I don't fuck with that shit.
yeah,
Like it's me and you, that's it.
yeah,
And that's why I'm always like I don't care. Like do what you feel like you have to do to make some shit happen for you. But at the end of the day, if you cross a certain line, like you know, it's all about communication and the trust.
definitely communication.
And it is just never obviously I've never had that enough to where like the communication and the trust was ever there. So like, you know, obviously shit never lasted.
Type shit.
But, you know, it's more of just having that communication, that understanding that between us, like you don't cross a certain line with other women and I don't cross a certain line with other men.
Mm,
And just understand that like we do this shit because this is how we feel like we need to have like this is how we need to take the evolution of our career or our craft in order to succeed at the level that we want to be, you
yeah,
know? And I know that's like super hard for people to grasp and it's so unconventional,
yeah,
but I'm literally like the most unconventional fucking person you could probably meet when it comes to a relationship.
yeah.
But I feel like with him, like there's obviously a lot of nuances in between as to why like shit was the way it was.
Mm,
And he would just do certain things to like, because he was a narcissist and he would just do certain things to like plant insecurities in my mind. that would cause me to go
I
nuts.
hate that when an outside person that's not involved in a relationship or whatever plants a seed in a person's head.
Yeah.
That just it can explode. It can grow.
Yeah.
I've dealt with and it's usually like either uh your partner's family members or friends
Yeah.
all day, like literally.
And like for me and him, I mean, I totally respect that some people feel like when you're in a relationship with someone, your significant other is separate from your friend group.
Hmm.
And I can respect that, and I can kinda see why, like, I can kinda see why, 'cause I had, like, recent shit happen. I mean, it wasn't, like, super recent, but it was recent enough that, like, I don't trust certain people that I considered friends because at this point, like, I introduced them to a certain lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying, like, "Oh, my life is great," but I've introduced them to certain people in certain spaces or, like, people that I date, um, and they immediately are like they want my sloppy seconds, basically, and I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy, like, yo, if that's what you wanted was to fuck like, to fuck a fucking rapper, then shit, just go
Type
find
shit.
me,
Type
but,
shit.
like, why does it have to be my ex, or just stupid shit like that, and I'm like, I have to be careful about those people, and, like, I have to read the energy, so I feel like it gets really complicated because, um, sometimes your friends are also the people you create with,
Mhm.
and so and that's okay, like, I feel like it's okay to have common friends in a creative space
Yeah.
because that's like, especially where we're in a very small city that has a
Yeah.
small community
A
of
very big
people.
melting pot.
Exactly, so it's like, I find that okay, but, I guess recognizing when someone's literally just trying to be a fan and not actually given a like, they're not actually a creative person that's
Right.
trying to, like, get into a space like that. And so, I think a lot of the time, like, my ex would, um like, I wasn't in a space where, like, I was creating anything at all because I just was going through a lot mentally, and then on top of that relationship, I felt really insecure about doing anything. I felt like I wasn't good enough to, like, make music anymore. I But that was also something personal that I decided to step back on very early on was, like, I was like, I don't feel like I have the voice that I wish I had or, like, what I used to have when I was younger," and I'm like, I don't really think that music is gonna be, like, my thing,
Mm.
and so I started venturing more into, like, just networking and, like, maybe even artist management, and, my sister lives in LA, so she's got some friends who manage artists as well,
Okay.
so they
Hey.
would give me, like, advice on, like, how I can be better at that, and my sister's always, like, super hard on me, she's like, if you're going to manage artists, then you need to make sure you understand that you have to be really good at networking and talking to people and meeting people. And you have to break out of that like shyness that you
Yeah.
might have. And so she's always been like really hard on me about that, but she's always encouraged me to do it because she knows it's possible.
Okay.
And so that was like my way of still keeping music at a safe distance from me, and like, so, when I was in this relationship with him, like, I'm like, this is perfect. Like, I can help you with managing your career. And, um, but he always saw me as less than him. Like,
Mm.
he always saw me as like someone who couldn't give him the benefits he needed uh,
Gee.
to elevate like his career. And, you know, like that shit used to tear me up inside, and that's what took me so long to actually start, like, creating shit again and, like, putting it out there. So I'm like, "Maybe I'm not that good, like, maybe I'm not good at what I think I'm good at, like, maybe I'm just truly an amateur."
Man, dude had a support system.
Like
He had a support system. I didn't have any of that. Like when I was trying to do my creative music thing,
yeah.
I didn't have no type of like anyone that I was dating did not want me to go do what I was, make music. Did not want me to go to these shows. Did not want me to network. Did not want me to do any of that. She
Mhm,
wanted me to just either stay home with that, with them
mhm,
or take them with. But if I took them with, opportunities would get ruined.
mhm.
It's let me talk to you, or why'd you look at her like this, or crazy shit all the time, something different, new episode, same season. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It was just it got tiring and exhausting. Like I got mentally exhausted. Like I got
yeah,
like some people like to eye roll. I like to just like sigh and walk out. Like I'm out. Like all
Yeah.
right, I'm done. Like SpongeBob. Like I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And shit. What was I going with this? Oh, like bringing your significant other to any event. Um, there's always gonna be seeds planted. Like what my ex used to plant to me uh, in my head while I was at these events
Mhm.
is, oh, if you're getting to talk to this person, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'll be right back. I'm leaving, but not tell me, where you're going, which sounds kind of controlling. But like, I'm so used to, hey, babe, I'm going to Walmart. Hey, babe, I'm going to Target. Hey, babe, I'm going to this, I'm telling you where I'm going. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when you're when the person you're dating is telling you, "Hey, I'll be right back," and it's like 3 hours later, 4 hours later, 5 hours later, you're not responding to any text messages. You're gonna plant a seed in my head, and everyone has insecurities,
Right.
but my shit's gonna kind of like delve off into different lanes and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like also, I mean, I don't have the issue of like going to these events, right? Like I think it's more of just understanding that like it's part of like it's obviously so complicated, right? Like when you have a significant other and you're in these spaces where you're trying to network.
Yeah.
Um, but understanding that you're like literally it's just all about knowing like this is us against the world. It's not us against each other. Like I'm
Yeah.
not here for any other reason but us. Like if you make it, like if one of us makes it, we're all fucking eating. Like that's the mentality that
Yes.
I would want to have in a relationship. But with him it was very, very difficult because he would plant a lot of insecurities in my mind, like especially when he worked with other women on like he had this specific girl that he would work with for cover arts, right? And like I'm not gonna lie, like her shit is cold. Like she was really good at what she did,
Yeah.
but it's just more of like you're crossing a certain fucking line with her. Like you're talking to her about our relationship problems. You're talking to her about just inappropriate shit that you don't need to be talking to her
Yeah, that
about.
first
Like
one was crazy.
yeah, yo,
The
like
first one
that's a
already.
fucking line you just don't cross. Like
Already.
I, I'm like, I cut off all my guy friends because even even though you're not telling me I need to cut off my guy friends, I cut them off because you're telling me like he would say things like my photographer friend now. Like we used to this was before he even used to pick up a camera. Like we used to do shoots together and then he'd be like, yo, like he just literally wants to fuck you. Like he would say my guy friends just want to fuck me and that's the only reason that they're my friends. And I'm like, you don't even know them like that. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be that way at all. And I'm like, I'm not stupid to believe, I'm not naive enough to not believe that,
Mhm.
I'm an attractive fucking person. Like, obviously, people are gonna want to find other interest in me outside of just like a friendship.
Right.
I know that, but I'm not gonna be naive enough to go for that shit.
Mhm.
But even if that was the case, like, and that's all they wanted from me, um, you got to trust me enough to know that I'm not going to do it? But my guy friends were not like that, obviously.
Mhm.
And like he would say shit like that and so I would just like cut them off cuz I'm like, I don't even want to have the argument of us going back and forth about me hanging out with my friends if
Yeah.
you're clearly going to make it an issue all the time. So like just fucking cut it off. And he'd be like, "Well, I never told you to, so you must have a reason to." And I'm like, "Yes, the reason is you, bro. Like your insecurities is the fucking reason I'm cutting them off."
The mental.
And it's like when he would work with other women on shit like the cover art, he would just I wouldn't even cross the line of talking to my guy friends about our relationship problems or anything like that. It would just strictly be like our usual fucking yapping about like what the fuck we talk about like as friends. And for him, like he would cross that line frequently with her. And I just don't understand if you're in a relationship with someone, even if you're working with someone on a creative level, like to have everyday conversation is kind of crazy.
It is.
That's a line I feel like you don't cross. And it got to the point where he even went on like he even took her out to eat secretly.
Damn, secretly. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And the only reason I found out was because like we got into an argument and to use in an argument, he sent a picture of them out to eat together. And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you." Like you're just building more insecurities
Yeah,
in my
fuck.
mind.
That is a little bit wild.
Yeah. Yeah, like he would
Shit.
do crazy shit. Like there was a time he even brought her to the house and he didn't know I was coming home from work
Word.
and cuz I had his Instagram like logged in on like our iPad or something. And I was like, "Whoa, you're making plans to bring a girl to our house when
Yeah.
I'm not home is crazy and not even tell me."
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I pulled
Oh my
up.
God.
Yo, I pulled up at the cut and I'm a crazy bitch, okay? Like when if it gets to that point, I'm a crazy ass bitch and I don't fucking
Fuck.
care. And I was ready to rock her shit. I was like,
Fuck.
I don't give a fuck. It's on site, bitch, because you know, like we're together.
Yeah, yeah,
And even
yeah.
if even if he tells you that we're not together and we're on rocky terms, like you're stupid.
That's not the
Like
green light.
it's not the green
That's not the
light.
green light.
Exactly. So I pull up and she's like locked in a room in the basement and like he's like, "We're just painting. We're just painting." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're just painting, but why the fuck is all my shit hidden in the crib? Like, what do you mean like you're just painting?"
Damn.
And I was like, "Yeah, you think I'm that fucking stupid?" And so I kind of went real crazy. Okay, I grabbed some shit to like pry the door open
Yeah.
because I'm not a dumb bitch. I was about to take the door off the hinges, not even gonna lie to you. I'm like, "Open this door. Like, come on. Like you're bold enough to walk in my crib, but you're not bold enough to walk out
Type
the door.
shit.
Come on, like, let's talk." Like, I was like, I don't even want to. I was like, I'm not even gonna rock her shit. Just let me talk to her real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
Let me ask her why she felt like she was comfortable enough to come to my house. And he's like, "Oh, the way he protected her was crazy." Um, but I was like, this is exactly the shit that I'm saying. It's like that's the line you don't cross when it comes to having creative spaces with opposite sex, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And you're in a relationship. You still have to be respectful and mindful of your relationship. But yeah, that situation was crazy.
Shit. Shit. That is crazy. I don't think I ever pulled some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, that wasn't even the end of it.
I've done some stupid shit, but not no stupid shit like that. Like I've always been not always, but like a few women that I've dated have told me like that my problem is women. I was like, what does that mean? Like you're dating me? The fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like either I don't know. I've heard, and I don't know what this means exactly because like it's very vague and it's like an umbrella term. I like to
Yeah.
say it's you too friendly or you friendly in their faces. You too friend. Like what the fuck does that mean? Like
I hate that term as well.
it's very vague. It's very like so fuck you want me to be an asshole like all day every day
Yeah.
to people.
You're too friendly.
Yeah, it's definitely an umbrella term and shit. And like, here's my thing: I'm just gonna be who I am, no matter what. Like my personality, you know what I mean? And so if the opposite sex gets attracted to me like that, it's like, how is that my problem or my fault? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's not like I am like, because you'll know when I'm hitting on you. Like, I feel like a girl will know when I have intentions to, like,
Pursue.
yeah, pursue. You know what I mean? Or go out for a drink or a date. Like, you'll know.
Yeah.
I'm direct. But if I'm talking to you and like you're just laughing because I don't know, I've said something funny or I'm joking or some
Yeah.
shit like that, and like, how is that being too
Too
friendly?
friendly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That term is so traumatizing for me, like, as well. It's like we would we would like hang out with like his friends would come over, like his like friends that would he'd make music with or like his producer. Oh my God. Him and his producer got into it so nasty all the fucking time. Like they had some crazy falling outs.
Fuck.
And I mean, I don't want to say it's because of me. I mean, it's because of him. Had nothing to do with me, but he definitely didn't like the fact that so like his producer essentially knows my childhood best friend.
Okay.
And my childhood best friend made a comment that she's like, "Oh yeah, I was gonna actually hook like they knew each other from like before."
Okay.
And so she was like, "Yeah, I was gonna hook you up with him at one point because he has like a thing for Asian girls." And I'm like, And I don't fuck with people who have fetishes. That's
Yeah,
a little fucking weird to me.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Well," she's like, "Yeah, now you're dating his friend, so that's not gonna happen."
Mm.
So she makes this comment and like he takes this comment and runs with it. And so he feels like he has to be on guard all the fucking time between me and his producer. And I'm like,
Shh,
"Bro,
making stuff awkward already, yo.
like, I'm literally locked in with your bitch ass, and you're over here thinking I want your producer. It's crazy." Like, I'm like, dude, if I wanted him, I would have him.
Yeah,
Like, why would I want like why am I sitting here with you going through the shit that I'm going through with you?
yeah.
You know? And I'm like, it would just be like small stuff like that, or like, um, the one time like one of his friends came over, someone that he makes music with,
Mm.
was like, I don't know, apparently he started saying stuff like, "Oh yeah, dude was telling me that you was making like little faces at him and he was like licking your lips at him." And I'm
Oh
like,
shit.
"What?
Oh shit.
What?" I was like, "First of all, he's not even fucking cute.
Wow.
Second of all, it's your fucking friend. Like, I'm not a homie hopping ass bitch." And I was like, "Okay, but anyways, this is like more of your own insecurities. Like, you need to figure this shit out
Yeah.
yourself." And it's just funny because it's like whole time it was like, "You're doing that to me with other women." And
Mm,
I never once even looked at someone else.
mm.
And he would just say things like, "Okay, if we're all sitting here having a conversation, I start laughing or I start making jokes." Cause like I'm a silly, goofy fucking person. Like
Yeah,
I like I like making jokes and I like
definitely.
saying stupid shit. And we'll all start cracking up. He'll be like, "You're being too friendly. You're being too friendly." And
Ooh.
after a while, like after a few times, he would make me, so anytime anyone would come over, he would make me stay in the room when they come over.
Damn.
And like I wasn't allowed to like come out and say shit or like anything. Like I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone that he would bring over.
Right.
And I'm like, that's kind of like, he's like, "I don't like a friendly fucking girl. Like, I don't like women like that." And I'm like, what the fuck kind of shit is this? Like, how insecure do you gotta be like to feel like that? And it's like, I mean, I know everyone has their own boundaries of whether they want their significant other to be like to be that intertwined in their lives, like with their friends and whatnot.
Yeah, that could be a scary conversation, honestly.
I
Like,
know.
you know what I mean? Because I'm not the same way, but I'm like I will have you around my friends if I'm dating you. You can be around my friends and shit, but if I clock in some shit like you are actually like flirting and like being too friendly like that, like flirting, like you're actually doing too much, like
Yeah.
getting too close, like physically close, like
Yeah.
whether you're helping out in the kitchen or some shit. Because
Yeah.
one of my exes, um, I brought home um a coworker.
Yeah.
Shit, he was a homie back then.
Yeah.
And you know, I invited him over to the house and shit. We're just grilling, barbecuing and shit, and drinking and shit in the front yard. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
enjoying summer. Um, the girl, shit, my ex fucking came through, brought us some more food, brought us some more beer and shit. And she ended up, you know, she wasn't the type to be all in, you know, my friends' faces.
Yeah.
So she was like, all right, y'all have fun. She goes to the kitchen and shit, whatever. I don't know what the hell she's doing. She's just keeping herself busy. Coworker just starts like, "Oh, let me help you with that. Let me go in there. Let me clean this for you. Are
Yeah.
you eating? Did he offer you something to eat? Talking about me. Did he offer you something to eat? Like, oh, he not. What the fuck? That's rude. Here, let me serve you a plate. This and that. Like, just trying too much to be physically removing yourself from the front yard to go to the back to the kitchen and just
Going out your way.
yeah,
Yeah.
going way out when my ex literally just came through to give us more beer, give us more meat to throw on the grill and shit
Yeah.
like that. Like, and now you're just way out of the way. Like, yo, like you know, she's my girl. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, it was so awkward. But he was that dude. I guess he had he had a history of doing a lot of synthetic drugs and shit.
Oh, okay.
And he was just constantly like trying to get in a girl's pants or get money from a girl for drugs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's I guess I should have saw that coming because during that time where I was working at, there was a lot of addicts like in
Okay.
the warehouse,
Yeah.
factory industry kind of,
Yeah.
and it was fucking wild. So I actually had experience with that type of shit.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think, of course, like I always say, like it always just boils down to your relationship with your significant other and the trust that you have between each other for sure.
Hmm.
Like if you know, and obviously like then you're checking him, not her in that moment, because
Yeah.
that's not her fault that that was happening. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy to me. Like, I mean, that was like the first relationship I ever had that like wasn't where we didn't intertwine like our friendships because he was so insecure about every single thing that would happen when we're in a group setting.
Hmm.
Or like he was very insecure when it was I think one of them was like even his cousin, but like we went out one night with his friends and um, this was after I'm sure you've listened to other episodes in the pod, even if you
Yeah.
haven't, but so it was like after like he posted about like our pregnancy and he's like everyone's like asking me like, "Oh my God, like I thought you were pregnant." And he was mad that someone asked me that or like was having a conversation with me.
Yeah.
And I responded back and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, this is crazy. Like I can't even fucking answer a question anymore. It's crazy." And this is like your fucking cousin or cousin, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
you consider him. And I'm like, "This is nuts. Like I can't even talk to people without you blowing up on me." And it would just be small stuff like that. But I'm very much used to like having a relationship where um I get along with my significant other's friends and my friends get along with, like that's how I mean, that's how I would typically roll.
Those make the best cookouts and barbecues.
Like I'm saying, like I feel like all of my relationships, like, that I've had that with, like, it just makes me feel more comfortable, you know? But also like I said, I've learned that there's certain people that I would have in my own life that
Mhm.
I wouldn't bring around my friends or like my significant other and their friends
Type
because
shit.
um, they're kind of, not trustworthy, but yeah, like I'm not used to that. So that was something that I had to learn to get used to because I'm literally like tight like this. Like even one of my exes, like his best friend, I don't even know if they're really like that close anymore, but um he basically became like he was like the third person in our relationship basically. Like he was like the both of us' best friend and like
Okay. Okay.
we'd spend so much time together. It was just that's just what it was.
Right.
And like I'm still friends with him to this day. Like
I'm
he's
sorry.
still a friend to me. But I'm like I would never cross that line with him and he would never cross that line with me and he's never done that.
Mm.
And it's just like I'm used to having those types of relationships and those types of bonds with my significant other's friends, and
Okay.
like I like it vice versa too. But I also recognize that I think maybe like I'm in a different place like with life in general because a lot of my friends I've had a lot of distance between them now because of that abusive relationship. So I don't know if I don't know if I can have those same types of relationships with people.
Mm.
Because again, like I I mean, it's just noticing patterns about the people that are around you and
Definitely patterns for sure.
yeah.
This is real.
I've had to like I've recently had to like cut a lot of people out of my life because I just was noticing that like there were some people that were trying to like get with my exes or like
Mhm.
stupid shit like that. And I'm just like all of my exes ain't shit, first of all. You know that
Straight up.
as my friend. And so it's kind of wild that you would even entertain the idea of keeping them in your life. And there's just a certain line I personally don't cross. And so I've had to cut a lot of people out of my life because of that reason. Um and it sucks because I'm like, damn, I really thought like I really valued the relationship we
Yeah.
had, but you're just not the person that I need in my life, especially um like, I'm not saying, like, I am this amazing person with, like, X amount of clout because I don't have any, but, like, when you're trying to uh, when you're trying to obtain a certain lifestyle,
Right.
I feel like a lot of people want to, like, link themselves to you because they feel like because by association they'll be considered someone really cool or really like they want to just be linked to you by association because of
Understandable.
what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
And I've just had to kind of recognize the inauthenticity in those like in those connections in those relationships, and it really sucks.
That shit sucks when that shit outweighs the friendship.
Yeah.
That shit's so weird. It's I've had to let go a lot of friends like that. A
Yeah.
lot of friends like that because again, once you're in a circle and it's just like, why aren't we talking about silly shit? Why are we always only talking about this? Like, what do you need from me right now? Like,
Yeah.
it's a weird conversation to be had and shit. So, I never had that situation happen where I'm having my significant other around producer friends or rappers, and it's just like, yo, you're getting too friendly. But
Yeah.
if it ever gets to that, like I think that's a conversation that should have been had before the relationship, or that's something that after the shit's done, hey, we can talk later.
Yeah.
We can go to the side and talk like, hey, yeah, I don't like this, but if that's a fucking thing,
Yeah.
like, be realistic. Are you being insecure
Yeah.
or is this fucking valid? You know what I mean? Did you say a dick joke or did you say you want to suck his dick? You know what I mean? Like, for real, be for real.
Yeah. Now, this is probably like a really crazy question, but um so how do you typically feel now? Social media, we have to just accept the fact that social media dominates a huge part of our lives, especially as when you're a creative individual. It's a huge part of your life, right? How do you feel about your significant other following other creative people that you have in your life, like in your like friend group or something? How do you feel about those individuals like exchanging social media or following each other?
And I think it depends on who you're dating because some people have really immature minds
Mhm.
and really like ill intentions and shit. So
For sure.
I don't think it's a problem because I would love for, my significant other to be in the group, the social group,
Yeah.
whether it be, outside of the internet or, in social media.
Yeah.
But it could get risky and weird. It could get really it's a thin line between like shit, uh a joke and an insecure fucking, thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Personally I don't mind because I've tried in the past with my ex
Mhm.
befriend, her friends on
Mhm.
social media and it's like nah, like
Yeah.
they're not accepting, but they're gonna stalk my page or they're gonna, request, me as a friend and, on certain platforms, but not the other platform and shit.
Yeah.
So it gets really tricky. I don't know. I don't mind it personally.
Yeah.
What about you?
Um, so I think it depends on it of course depends on the person that I'm dating, but also depends on the friend
Mhm.
itself. Like it depends on the people in general.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like if you're contributing to certain things, like I said, I obviously date a lot of like people who a lot of rappers, right? And like I feel like if my friends are following you simply because they like your music,
Mhm.
I feel like that's a little bit sketch because that is you really don't need to follow each other on social media at
Yeah.
that point because if you want to know any updates, you ask me.
There you go.
Or like literally Spotify and Apple Music notifies you when someone releases shit,
There you
like
go.
you don't need to actually follow this person on social media to know what the fuck they're doing.
Mhm.
As far as like a new release or something. And I think it's also a line that I don't feel like friends should cross is going to your significant other's performances and not even actually talk to you about it. Like it's all about the communication, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
shit like that. Like if my
yeah.
friends are like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to a show," but you didn't tell me, like that's a little bit sketchy to me.
That is a little bit sketchy. That
Like
is like why was it weird to not say anything in the first place? You know what I
exactly.
mean?
What was your intention behind that? Now
That is
that's
that is awkward.
it's like to me, it's all boiling down to the communication that you
Yeah.
have with me in our friendship or our relationship.
Mhm.
And if you're keeping certain shit from me, then I feel like there's just like, I think there's like a quote that says, like, it's not about being honest, it's about transparency.
Yeah, I
Transparency
heard that.
is way different
Yeah.
from being honest, right? Like, you're forthcoming when you're transparent about
Mhm.
things. And it's really hard to find people who are just simply transparent and not just transparency. It makes me as who I am.
Yeah.
It makes me feel more comfortable because I am a transparent person. I'm not just honest with you. Like I like to come forth with the truth, the
Mhm.
full truth before anything gets further. And you don't meet a lot of people with that level of integrity, you know
Right.
what I mean? And so for me, I don't mind the social media thing. It's just to what level, to what degree are you following each other, you know?
That's true. That's true. Oh, do you come across artists that have way too much platforms, like the extra one that is fucking weird, like OnlyFans?
I
Like,
haven't yet.
that's fucking weird. Like you're rapping, you're DJ, and then also at the last bottom of the list, it's your OnlyFans link. Like what the fuck?
That's insane. I haven't come across that
That's
yet.
the thing
No.
now. Like that's the thing. Artists, even artists like now that are big,
Yeah.
are doing OnlyFans now. Now they're just not rapping. Now they're just doing other shit too.
That's crazy. I did not know that.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I did not know that. And I pray that I don't come across it. But
What would you do? Like if you found out, or if you're dating someone and they're like, "Hey, I got this OnlyFans link." Like
that,
it's hitting though. Like you know what I mean? Y'all both eating or what? Y'all both eating or what?
I don't know. That's a really difficult topic. That's a very difficult conversation. I mean, I get it, but for me, I don't think I'd be down for it.
What if it's just feet pics?
Sure, 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 sure.
All right.
But when it comes to any
Yeah, yeah,
additional nudity, like that's a little too far for my liking.
yeah, for
'Cause
sure.
I mean, I'm a little bit more conservative when it comes to that. I'm a little bit more reserved when it comes to those types of things.
Yeah, word.
But at the same time, like I've considered things like findom,
Okay.
like that shit, you don't have to even show your face,
Right.
like, you know? So, actually, I had this conversation with my ex, not the one that not my my abusive ex though. I had a conversation with an ex, my more recent ex. Like we were talking about this because like we actually had a pretty good relationship. Like me and him, like it was probably the least toxic relationship I ever had.
Nice.
I think it was just a lot of like right person, wrong time, and he still is a little toxic too. So
Yeah.
we both were. But we were having the conversation about findom, and I was just telling him how like I wanted to like I might like, you know, I might try it because I'm like, we gotta make something shake. Like
Yeah.
we want to have like me and him, like we had a lot of commonalities when it came to like business ideas and like we those were the conversations we were having. And so I was like, we should entertain the idea of findom and like let's use like let's exploit on the fact that I'm a fucking woman
Yeah.
and I can do this shit.
Right.
And he literally proposed like an entire business plan to me.
Okay.
And but then it kind of got to a point where the conversation was kind of steering towards like a different direction and I kind of checked out. And I was also very much like still I was in a different place mentally then. But he was just kind of making sure we had the conversation about like, you know, hey, um, you know, a lot of women might start off bartending at a strip club. Some may even move towards stripping.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm not saying that that's what you're going to do, but we have to also understand that opening the door to findom can also open the door to shit like OnlyFans and
Right.
like doing more spicy work.
Right. Instead of solo work.
Yes,
Right.
and he's like, "We just have to talk about that," and I just was, like, very immature and just, like, I did not feel like talking about it, and, like, for me, it felt more offensive, and I'm like, "So you're" like, I felt offended that he would even say that because 'cause I'm like, "Yo, like, you're saying this because you feel like I'm that type of person? Like, I'm gonna do Findom, and I'm gonna start doing all this other spicy work too?
Right.
I feel like that's what you're trying to come at me
Mm.
about." And so I took offense to it and, like, I totally checked out of the conversation and, like, it became, like, an entire argument, which it didn't have to be,
Right.
had I just been more receptive to what he was actually telling me.
Right.
And so, like, we had these conversations, and, like, this is why, like, I feel very grateful that we had the relationship that we had because we could have those conversations and, like, we could like, he was always all about having those types of communications with me, but I just wasn't ready for that.
Right.
And, we kind of reconnected over the summer, like, just as friends,
Mhm.
and he actually ran with my Findom idea and tried it himself,
Oh shit.
and I was like, "What the fuck?" I
Oh
was like,
shit.
"Damn, bro," like
Did it.
and it's so funny because he's always like it'd be, like, small stuff like that, like, things that we had ideas
Right.
and, like, we talked about, and he'd be like, dude, like, he's like, I just wanted to, he's like, it just makes me sad because it's like, I just wanted to call you and tell you, like, hey, I did this and like this happened. And this was something that we were supposed to share together. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I can't believe you really ran with that shit and did it. Like,
Yeah.
he only did it like one time apparently, and he made like $200 off of it. And I was like,
Shit, if you
shit.
would have kept on going, that shit would have been more zeros at the end of
I
that, probably.
swear to
You know what I mean?
God. I swear to God. And so like that's the type of shit that like I love those small things about like our relationship that we had, and like I know that those are things that I would look for in the future in a relationship. So it's not like it's a problem to me. It's just more of like we're gonna have the conversation and we're gonna be honest. Like he was trying to be completely transparent with me about like
Mm.
the direction that starting in the spicy industry, like
Yeah,
where this could go.
yeah,
And as long as you remember who you are and your morals and like where you know you're not going to cross the line, like you're going to be okay. Like
definitely.
and that was kind of that was definitely on me. Like I accept that that was my fault, that I didn't really want to have that conversation cuz I'm like I was just a little too immature, and I was just like, yo, like you're just accusing me of shit.
Yeah,
Cuz in that time I was still kind of like recovering from all the
past
trauma
trauma.
and
Yeah.
shit. So,
Do you think that's probably what could have, why you weren't receptive to what he was saying? Because you just like not used to that type of communication, that type of,
absolutely. Like I don't want to blame my trauma for every single thing or like why I was so fucked up, but it's like it is a big role and a big part of why I didn't I couldn't be the best person that I could be in a relationship.
mm,
And I still feel like I have so much more work to get to where I want to be
yeah,
in order to feel good about being in a relationship again. But like I always say, and like I've literally told him, like our relationship was exactly what I needed to grow into the person that I was always meant to be. Because if
mm,
I didn't have that relationship, I wouldn't know what healthier love looked like,
yeah,
and I wouldn't know how it feels for someone to treat me so well that like I could actually love myself while being in a relationship with someone, you know?
okay,
But it was very hard for us to communicate because I was so unhealed, and I feel like he still has a lot of work to get through.
yeah,
Um, but like I wish we could have stayed friends because like we tried to stay friends over the summer. And not to like air him out, but like, he would always reach out to me even after we broke up. Like he reached out to me for months, like just trying to like reconnect again, like as friends. And I'm like, I just needed to stay in the no contact space. And like I just couldn't see myself like getting back into that space with him again.
okay,
And then when I finally gave it a chance, like I think there were still just too many feelings there.
right, okay,
There's too many feelings, not necessarily for me. It's like my feelings kind of romantically for him had kind of all went away at that point because I took all that time to really work on myself.
oh,
And I'll always like care about him and love him as a friend, and we were friends beforehand. So it's like I want the best for him, but the way like shit just ended recently with us, like it was just real bad. Like it was like a huge argument and it really hurt me. Like I literally cried about it because I'm like, I have to end this friendship that I've had for years with you because we couldn't get past our stupid ass like you couldn't get past your romantic feelings. Like
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, I can't do that with you. Like we're not gonna sit here and argue about this constantly. Like it was just really bad. So I just felt awful because I'm like, at the end of the day, like you're a person that I fucking
yeah,
love, and I can't even have you in my life because you treated me like shit in those last moments, and that's all I have to remember you by now. Like we had all these great things about our friendship and our relationship, and now like you're treating me like shit, and I'm like, okay, like I have to respect myself enough.
yeah,
So that's always like what pisses me off. Like I don't mind being friends with my exes as long as you're not treating me like shit or disrespecting me and not crossing my boundaries. But they always end up finding a way to do that. So
it's very hard to be friends with exes. I know I have exes that I will never like to talk to again and see. And then
absolutely.
there's exes that I wouldn't mind if I see them in public, saying hey or, sitting down for a drink or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But um, to what you were saying, so this ex of yours, you know, gave you a business plan and shit. I've had a someone that I was dating offer me to, do OnlyFans with her, but I was just like always I'm on the defense when it comes to that type of stuff because I'm always thinking, is there an underlying like something else, like a plan B or some shit? Like, are you gonna ask me something else even more, lucrative or crazier than what you're asking me now? Like,
Yeah.
what's the whole thing here? And, come to find, a year later, like I guess that's when she wanted to like start doing OnlyFans, but like with like other people and shit. And
Okay.
it's just like, oh, okay, so you wanted me to join this thing with you to see how it would go off, and then now you want to start doing this shit with
Other
other people
people.
and shit. So I was just like, all right. Like, so anytime I'm like seeing these couples online now on Facebook talking about some, hey, click on our link.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh shit, all right.
You're
Like,
thinking it's more than that for
yeah,
someone in the situation.
definitely.
That's
I
crazy.
couldn't I couldn't do that. I mean, she's my ex now, but
Yeah.
shit, still, it was just a wild thing to ask. And I was, you know, I don't want to be sound like oh paranoid and shit, but like I always kind of like give you a side eye, like what's really going on here? You know what I mean? I'm always like thinking like because I don't want to look stupid in the end or get hurt.
Yeah. But that all comes with the transparency of shit. Like if they're not transparent about their intentions of why they want to do things
Yeah,
in general, it doesn't have to be in like the spicy industry. It's just in general. If they're not transparent about shit, like there's no way like it's gonna work, you know? And I
definitely.
feel like that's the biggest downfall I've noticed in relationships in general is like people just aren't as forthcoming with you about stuff. Like
Hmm.
um, and I feel like that's had she just been more transparent about like how her intention was to obviously eventually open the door to other inviting other people into that space,
Hmm.
then I mean, I'm not saying like you would consider that, but at least she's honest with
Yeah,
herself and she's honest with
I
you.
would have know what I would have been dealing with,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
and then just I have, you date artists and rappers and shit. I've
Yeah.
I've dated a lot of like, if your profile pic got an ass in it, I'm probably dating you. You know what I mean? When I was younger and shit,
Yeah.
if it's a selfie mirror pic and it's got ass in it, I'm probably like friending you, add as a friend. What's up? Whatever, woo, woo, and then probably hitting it off then. But that was when I was
Yeah.
younger and shit, and so it's usually like those type of um uh women with personalities that I used to go for and shit.
Yeah.
And like now having kids, it's like I fear for my kids now. Like
Yeah.
when they start dating, like there's always gonna be a level of like domestic violence. You know what I mean? It's always a level like you see it every day. Like
Yeah.
a couple, at a restaurant or at a bar, or waiting at a bus stop, or just at a retail store. You see it every day. It's
Yeah.
just for certain levels of domestic violence, and then there's also certain levels to where it's just if you get caught, you get caught.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to hear
Yeah.
from either a police officer or from the abuser and shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
That's funny. That's crazy that you say that. I mean, I can say like my last relationship, it was I mean, there were some like tendencies that he wasn't doing things to me. That's the other thing. It's like he wasn't physically harming me or whatnot, but he would essentially harm himself because he'd get so frustrated with like our arguments. Um, but I'm like, that's still domestic violence, you know? But like this is why it always breaks my heart when I talk about him because it's like I seriously love this guy like to death. Like yo, like if we could if we could have worked out being friends, like that would have just been the only thing I could ever ask for from him. Like I don't have any romantic desire to be with him in that way ever again. Like I'm totally over those feelings for him, but it always hurts me because I think about how um like, it just hurts me because it's like he taught me like, our relationship just showed me so much, like,
Mm,
it just showed me that, like, it's possible to be loved by someone without being hurt and harmed, but also, like, just having a good relationship and a good bond is it just is possible. Like I don't understand why, you know, I believe for so long that domestic violence was just so normalized because I know it's very common. It happens
Yeah,
all the
it
time, but
does.
it doesn't have to be that way, you know? And totally lost my train of thought of like where I was going with that, but you know, like I believe that I don't have to settle for those things, you know, and even even if it's not domestic violence, like it's like you have to also watch for mental manipulation, emotional manipulation,
Definitely.
and I am so terrified of those things. Like I don't believe people when they say certain things to me. Like this is why like I also am just staying away from dating in general. Like when people ask me, they're always asking me like, um, you know, like asking me on dates or like asking me to go out, and I'm always like, I don't date, and they're like, you don't, you like date women, and I'm like, no,
Right.
I
No
no,
fucking
I
English,
ser- like,
motherfucker.
do you hear the words I'm saying? Like I'm literally telling you I just don't date, like, because it just is not. I'm not in a space where I want to do that yet, but also
Yeah.
I need to see like I just I want to build things at the pace that I want to build it at. And I know that sounds really crazy and almost like a manipulation tactic, but
Not
it's
really. That's like I think that's perfect.
like
People need to do that more.
yeah, and I swear like in this day and age, like people are either jumping headfirst
Yeah.
into relationships, quote unquote relationships,
Just playing house.
and just like love bombing everything and like
Yes, love
fucking
bombing everything.
yes, like they're just going so fast into these relationships and like I mean, great for you if it works out, but like I feel like for me, it's like either they jump right into it and they're all in, or they're so casual about shit like situationships. It's there's no in between a situationship and a full blown committed relationship where you're all in. Like I need something like in the middle where I'm just going steady with someone, and it's not like I'm going steady with you because I'm dating other people. Like
Yeah.
I'm literally going steady because I need to make sure that I'm doing right by this relationship with you, and also you're doing right by me too. And I think people have so much confusion when it comes to that. Because I'm not a person who likes to date multiple people at once. I don't fucking care about doing that. Like I could care less. As long as I have someone that like can go steady with me and give me the space and the patience that I need,
Yeah.
like I'm good. Um, like I was having a conversation with a friend earlier, and like we have like transparent like I just was recognizing how much I appreciate having transparent conversations with him about how our friendship like how it's easy for us to mix up chemistry and compatibility
Yeah.
because it's like we're so great together as friends, but and it can really get so convoluted that we think we have more of a romantic feeling towards each other, but it's not the case, and people don't understand that just because there's chemistry doesn't
Yeah.
mean like it has to that there's compatibility in your relationship with each other as more than just friends. So, me recognizing like truly like what changed my mind about dating in general is realizing that compatibility is what you need to focus more on when you're dating versus just the chemistry you have with someone. Cuz I like yo like I mean I'm not saying it like this, but like I could literally have so much chemistry with so many people in the world, like, I could sit here and talk for hours with anyone,
Mhm.
anyone I meet, like, strangers I've met across the world. I could sit there and talk to them forever about life, about shit,
Type shit.
but they may not be compatible to me as far as, like, morals, as far as aspirations in life
Right.
and what they see as an ideal relationship, and those are the things that matter the fucking most when it comes to actually choosing someone to be in a partnership with. And I don't even like calling relationships relationships. Like I consider it a partnership
Yeah.
because we both equally need to be whole, you know, and we need to be two people, two whole individuals that come together that add to each other's lives and make shit great.
No, yeah. No, that's the way of thinking about it for real. A
Yeah.
partnership for real.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, you just gotta be. I don't know. Like, how do you feel about like I mean, I've brought it up earlier and shit in the conversation, but
Yeah.
it does seem controlling, and I was made to feel like I was being controlling, but the whole, I don't know how you were, if you were while in a relationship living with somebody, how you guys felt about, if you have to go do something, would you let the other person know where you were going or what time you're coming back or
Oh,
whatever? And did you want that reciprocated as well? And when you didn't, like, is that like a red flag? Was that cringy? Was that like, yo, what the fuck's going on?
yeah, so, I definitely had that incident even in my last relationship, like, we argued a lot about so we had this really huge argument one time, where I don't know, we just were not on the best of terms before he was leaving. He was just going down to, like, Chicago to meet a friend,
Mm,
and, he was what did he do? So we kind of had like small communication. Like he was just kind of letting me know, like, hey, I'm about to take my friend here and there, and then I'm gonna hit the road to head to Chicago. And he's like, I'll call you when I get back in town. And I'm like, okay, cool. So and at this point, like we didn't finish the argument.
yeah,
We just like put it on pause and we're just communicating basic shit. Like I'm and this point, like we weren't even living together. Like me and my ex, we never lived together. This ex at least. Um we were just I had commitment issues, I feel like, and he was, like, ready to be all in. I just wasn't ready for that,
right.
and he was just telling me, like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit the road, so call you when I get back," and so we don't talk the entire time while he's gone, and then he gets back, and he has, like, this huge, piece that he needs to do for his last, assignment on his master's program, and, he didn't tell me that he was going to be, like, at a hotel. Like, he didn't tell me that he was getting a hotel in town to, like, have the space to himself to just finish this final piece. And, so, I waited the whole day to see when he was gonna call me, to let me know when he's in town. He didn't send me a text, didn't call me, nothing. Like, we basically hadn't talked in over 24 hours. I don't know what happened, like, while he was out there in Chicago with his friend. I don't know what was going on. And so I was like, I'm not gonna be super insecure because like I trust that he's not fucking with other bitches. Like I trust that at least. And even if he was, do I like I can't stop him from doing that.
Right. You,
He's gonna do what he wants,
yeah,
you
it's gonna
know?
happen right there.
Exactly. So but then when I saw him pull up at this hotel and he still didn't call me, he didn't text me, nothing. I'm like, okay, now my mind is starting to race. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? I went crazy. So I gave him a few hours. He still didn't call, still didn't text me.
Shit. And you pull up again.
Yo, I pulled up to the fucking spot.
God damn, pull up queen.
I am. When I tell you, like, if I go crazy, I go crazy. Like, I go way too fucking far. So I pull up to the hotel and I'm like blowing his shit up. I'm calling him. I'm sitting out here for like hours at this point, calling him, calling him, calling him. And I'm like, I can't ask them like what room is he in because they're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, they're not gonna
I'm
check.
not gonna give it to you. Like, so I'm like, like I don't know what to do. All I can do is just sit here and keep calling him until he answers the fucking phone. And we start I went crazy on him immediately. I'm like, so who the fuck you I was like, I well, actually, so I was like, let me play it cool. Let me play it cool and be like, what's going on? Like, why you haven't called me? Why you haven't texted me?
Yeah.
Nothing. And um, I was like, I just saw that you were back in town at a hotel, but you didn't say anything. So I wait for him to eventually, I don't know how I got him to come out, but I got him to come outside somehow. And I was parked the front and he didn't know I was there
Oh
because I
shit.
never said shit, right? My crazy ass
Fuck.
is crazy, yo. Because I was like,
Fuck.
I'm gonna catch your ass. Because I want you to, I don't want him to know that I'm here because if he walks out with the bitch, I'm rocking her shit right
Yeah,
there, you
yeah.
know? And I don't know why I would rock her shit when I should be rocking his shit. So
Both of
both of them
them.
really. So I wait for him to, I'm sitting at the front and I wait for him to come out. He didn't even see my car. And I was like, so as soon as I see him come out, I hop out my car. I'm like, fuck are you doing? Like, are you crazy? Why are you at a fucking hotel and you're not like I start going off on him like
Yeah, yeah,
immediately. And it was so
yeah.
crazy. Like,
Uh,
yo, like it was probably the craziest shit I've ever done to him.
yeah.
And I feel so bad because
It was really just him.
It was really just him. Like,
Like, oh shit.
yo, I went crazy for nothing. But it was just the point of like, yo, like you're not communicating with me and
Yeah,
that's scaring me right now. Like I'm feeling very insecure because you were supposed to call me when you got into town, but he had fallen asleep at the hotel as soon as he got there because he was up partying all night.
definitely, definitely. Yeah, understandable, understandable. That happened to me before, not the exact situation, but like I still have that problem. I'm not gonna fuck. I'm be honest, but I'm a little bit oblivious to my own bullshit sometimes
Yeah.
that like I fail to communicate my own shit.
Yeah.
So like I want to say a few years back, I'm living by myself. I got my own, my own spot and shit. I'm dating this girl. I'm inviting her over a lot. We're
Yeah.
doing everything together, cooking, dinner, lunch, all that shit, like
Yeah.
whatever. Like I don't when I get home, I usually just send, we send memes or texts, whatever, just
Yeah.
dumbass shit. One night I didn't do it, and like she pulled up on me, literally pulled up on me, and started knocking on windows, knocking on my room window, and I'm like, yo, and this specific day, I don't know if it happens in your neighborhood, probably not, but 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 they turn off like street lights.
Yeah.
Like, just I don't know if it's to save energy, money, whatever the fuck, but certain blocks
Yeah.
it's completely blacked out.
Yeah.
And this specific day, my block was blacked out. So I wake up and I'm like, holy fuck, what am I? I'm grabbing some shit as a weapon. Like, who the fuck's breaking in my shit? Like, I'm looking outside the windows and shit. I'm like, okay, he doesn't know where I am.
Yeah.
Only I know my exits, and I'm planning shit in my head. Like, what type of fucking like action movie am I doing right now? And so I go to my front living room window and I took down the blinds
Yeah.
and I see it's her fucking car, like parked but like four houses down. And I'm like, that wasn't far enough. You could have went a little bit more further because I could see your shit. You're the only car on that block, the only car, and it was dark. So her car during that time was white, so it stuck out. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
could see your shit. Open the door, and I just got snapped on. Like literally, I couldn't say not one fucking word because I'm just letting her finish, and I'm just
Yeah.
like every time I'm trying to talk, I'm just getting cut off.
Yeah.
And she rushes in the house, turns on the lights, like looks everywhere, looks in the basement, like come out, bitch, this and that, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, it's really nobody. She left mad still. She
Yeah.
left literally like 5 minutes later. She left mad. Fucking half hour later, I get hit up. I'm sorry. I blew up.
Yo,
I'm
that's
sorry.
me.
Like I shouldn't do that to you. Like this and that. I feel so bad. And I'm like, this whole time I'm like, fuck. I don't know if I should.
Easy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I should appreciate that and be turned on or be like, yo, ma, like, what should I do about this girl and shit. I'm like, that was the only experience ever like I've had about that, and it was because of my own obliviousness. Like I got home from work tired of shit, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
passed out and shit, you know what I mean? Didn't even like think to like call her or say, hey, I'm home or text or anything, it's just me being, think, not used to being in a relationship.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like, oh, I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm,
Right.
I'm asleep, you know what I mean?
And that's the funniest shit that you say that because it's like my ex and I like we had like a routine like because he's a teacher so he would get home. He was only working part-time at the time because he was in a master's program. So
Yeah.
he would get home and I know what time he gets home. And he would always FaceTime me or text me and just let me know that he's home. And like I mean, I didn't ask for that, but I love that he would do that. And so I was like, oh, okay, so that's how he likes to move. That's fine with me. And all of a sudden he would stop doing that. But he kind of gave me the heads up because he's like, school's gonna get crazy, so I
Yeah.
may not be able to always call you. And I'm like, okay, trying to prepare myself for that. And it's funny because it's like we got to a point where like I understood the routine enough and like I know exactly what he does when he gets home. And
Yeah.
like I would joke with him about I'd be like I'd be like, okay, so you get home from work at this time and you're going to your routinely after work shit or something. And like he would he would
Type
be like,
shit.
damn, you're like timing my shits and stuff. And I'm like, no, I was like, I'm not timing your shits. It's just like, I pay attention to you, bro. Like, that's what I'm trying to explain to you is like, that's how I love you is like, I pay attention to the small nuances that you
Yeah,
have in your routine because
definitely.
for someone who has like CPTSD, it's we pay attention to the small things that you do and your patterns because we're so used to unpredictability like in a situation that when we have those little things that we can hold on to that are predictable to us, we notice it and so we just we remember those things and it's of course like it's also the way that we love you too because it's like we know that you have this certain routine and so we like to give you the space for this or like whatever the fuck the case is.
Okay.
So he would joke with me about it and I'm like no, like I wish you would just realize like it's not because I'm trying to like time you on your shits and stuff like that. I'm just making sure that like you're not switching up on me, that you're
Right.
not going to throw a wrench in our routine here because if you do, then my triggers are starting to go off.
Mhm.
So it kind of got to that point and like I've noticed those small things about myself and that's why like I said I love that relationship so much because it taught me things about myself that I didn't realize before that helped me feel secure in a relationship. So as much as he found that funny, I thought that was I'm like, it's not really funny to me. Like I'm just trying to make sure I understand you and like
Yeah.
you understand that I need those types of nuances to feel comfortable with you. So, there were eventually the consistency obviously stopped. So that's where a lot of more insecurities kind of came across. So, um I'm just glad that we kind of ended things went before it got too far.
Right.
And like I thank him all the time for breaking up with me because if he didn't do that, like we might have been stuck in a very toxic cycle right now and
Right.
like it would have been worse. And that breakup was exactly what I needed to like glow the fuck up. Like I'm literally finally who I've always wanted to be, but also more, and it took all that to get me here. And it sucks that like something that we could have had that could have been so beautiful
Yeah.
had to end, but it ended for the sake of ourselves.
Oh,
Like,
for
I
real.
mean, I hope that he's doing okay. Like I don't know for sure, but I hope that he's doing okay and it seems like he's happy in the life that he has. But I sometimes I'm very afraid to like I was very afraid to let him back in my life, of
Mhm.
course, too, because I'm like, are you trying to come back in my life to like, I don't know, fuck it up and like are you mad because like I'm in a better place now or is it because you actually want to be there for me as a
Yeah.
friend? And I don't know, ultimately I feel like he's not trying to like be friends because of the way he disrespected me the last time we talked. But I see him still creeping on my shit, like,
Yeah.
and I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I don't
On
even
like
know.
on like Reels or Instagram, I mean, or something. Because I get a few exes stalking me on my page here and there. Not every time, but just sometimes.
So I don't typically block people unless like, of course, my abusers, I block them. But him, like, I actually had to block because I was just like, you really crossed the line. Like he called me like an ungrateful little bitch, and so I blocked him.
Damn.
Yeah, like we got into a really bad argument. He called me an ungrateful little bitch, and I was like, yeah, okay, old Sab probably would have accepted that, but now I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, don't ever fucking call me again. Like, I was like, you can block me. Like, I typically don't block people, but I blocked him on Instagram, but I saw him creeping on like my TikTok. Because on TikTok, you can actually see who like checks your page.
Yeah.
And he checked my page recently and he even messaged me like not that long ago, but I unfollowed him and everything
Yeah.
like cuz I was like I don't want you to have the access to message me because you fucked up, bro. Like if you're not coming to me to apologize, like I don't want to hear it. And even if you apologize, I still don't want to be your friend anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's fucked up, bro.
That is fucked up.
So, it's like I will always give him the praise that he deserves for the great things that he showed me in that relationship and that friendship, but I just it's so sad. It's so sad when shit has to end the way that it ends. Like even as a friend. So,
Definitely. I had some weird endings in a relationship once or twice, I would say. But like one relationship ended because um fucking weird. Like I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm still trying to figure this out and take accountability and be like, did I fuck up? Because it was just I never had a relationship end like this. Like it wasn't infidelity or anything like that. No one cheated on anybody and
Yeah.
shit. It was I still during that time I was where was I living on the east side, fucking working a 9 to 5. Met this girl through fucking what shit. I think Facebook, and we just managed to click. And so we're dating for a little bit. I'm talking to all my high school friends still.
Yeah.
One of them was a girl and shit, and she's like a visual art major at MyAd or some shit.
Mhm.
We always clicked, always like music and art, because during high school we were always doing graffiti
Mhm.
and listening to music, showing each other music,
Mhm.
whatever the sort. And it got to us catching up with each other. She's telling me about her life, her kids,
Mhm.
her man. I'm telling her about, my daughter during the time,
Mhm.
and then this new girl I'm dating.
Mhm.
And it was just that, we're just catching up and shit.
Yeah.
None sexual, no sexual texts, no sexual advances, no like her hitting on me, me hitting on her, none like that. It got to conversation about me and the girl that I was dating about, just romantic shit we would do. We'd go on
Mhm.
dates and shit like that, places we would go to,
Yeah.
and then it just ended. I was working at a retail store, went
Yeah.
back home, called the girl up, hey, we're going out, you want to go out? Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. We go to a bar, we go drink. We end up going to her aunt's house because her aunt's out of state.
Yeah.
And so we ended up, house watching for her. Um, I pass out. She goes through my phone and she sees, the
All
text
the
messages, yeah,
messages.
between me and her. And it was like nothing, again, nothing sexual, this and that. But her thing was, and this was like the main argument that I remembered that I'm still like not still fucking the head over, but I'm just still like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Was I don't know her. I don't like you. I don't want you telling anyone about me, if I don't know him.
Yeah.
So basically, that was why shit got sour. We didn't break up right then and there, but
Yeah.
shit just went down, like
Yeah.
downhill, crazy shit. Trying to get me jealous, shit like that. Just doing small little shit, you know what I mean? And it was like, yo, so because I didn't, so you don't know this person, met my high school friend from like way back when,
Yeah.
and we're catching up, with life,
Yeah.
and you don't know her, and I told you about her. That like got you heated enough to be like, yo, I'm not fucking with this dude no more. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So that, that was one of them situations where I'm like, did I fuck up? Like, did I really fuck up? Or is this chick just really looking for an out, like any fucking thing, and just let me get the fuck out of here? You
Mm.
know what I mean?
That's a good way to even ask that, because I mean I'm definitely a person who likes to self-sabotage, and I'm very avoidant. So I run away from stuff a lot, and like I push people away as soon as I feel some slight bit of inconvenience or insecurity. I mean, I'm trying to get better at it because I'm like, I, as an adult, need to fucking learn to communicate better. And
Yeah,
that, of course, like, all you can do is just control what you do, right? Like how you react to a situation like that. And if you can recognize what you might have done wrong, like, or how you could handle that situation better, maybe understanding more of like how she feels about you having other women as friends, is a good place to like maybe start even.
for sure.
And then see if like from there if you should bring up the conversation of, I have other women that are friends, and but if you feel more comfortable that I don't talk to you about that, then don't. Like that just would never be a topic of discussion. Um and again, like I've had to learn that it all starts with it all just starts with understanding who they are as a person, like what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with, but also recognizing for yourself, like, what do you what do you feel comfortable with? You know what I mean? And like I I just wish I was a little bit more mature sometimes in
Yeah.
certain
Oh, yeah.
situations. But all I can do now is know that like I try to communicate better. I think that after that relationship, I tried to date like very casually and it just never like it's unfortunate because it's like I feel like most of the time when you're in the dating scene, like people just they see you just as that. Like they see you as someone to pursue rather than just see you as a person. And I've had to recognize that if I don't feel like I'm seen as a person by someone that I'm potentially dating,
Mhm.
I'm not interested. Like you're just not the person for me. Um and like I that's just how I am at least. Like I don't want to be treated in a like I don't want you to respect me just because you want to pursue things with me romantically. I want
Okay.
you to respect me as a fucking human being. Like if I'm telling you how I feel, just understand that I don't typically do that. Like I might be very emotional and I have big emotions, but I don't typically express myself often.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't tell people how I feel often. I usually just shut down and walk away. And so please respect the fact that I do bring my feelings to your attention.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's too much for people and that's nothing to do with me. That's their emotional capacity of what they can handle in the moment.
That's what I had to learn how to deal with. Cause I would like being a young guy
Yeah.
straight out of high school, going to college, then coming back and trying to live a life, um, get your job, get your house or apartment or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I definitely did not have the maturity or like the mental capacity to like take anyone's emotion serious. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, any a girl that I would either be in a relationship or dating, going steady with, like anytime you would get mad at me, I just think it would be cute or nothing would get addressed, nothing would get solved, and I was a dick like that, you know what I mean?
Dismissive.
I was very yeah, I was a dick. I was very dismissive. I was very toxic as
Yeah.
a young ass dude. Um, Now it's just like, having kids and going through experiences more and shit like that. You just kind of like want better for your kids. You kind of want to teach them not to be like that.
Yeah.
But like definitely like I was very dismissive, didn't, if then my girl would, tell me she was mad at me or be direct to me like, "Hey, you this made me mad." I'd literally just be like, "Oh, okay, that's cute. Like, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. You feel that way. Like, what's it affecting right now, the situation?"
Yeah.
And, me just thinking, "Look, we're eating, we're sitting down, we have a place to shit at or whatever the fuck," you know what I mean? But really, I'm not thinking what it's doing now is causing conflict. It's causing
Yeah.
this like
The
drift.
tension.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tension.
And I recently heard something. Someone said, I mean, this is common sense, right? But I feel like sometimes we forget the way that, especially as women, the way that we need to approach certain things is like, eh, but in any situation, men or women, the way someone um reacts or responds to you bringing up an issue and in any situation that shows you how much they care about you. Like if I
Mhm.
was to bring up a situation to someone I was dating and telling him like you're making me feel this way because you've been inconsistent in this way, which is why I feel insecure about this or I feel very scared or afraid or hurt that you do this because you've done this in the past and you're showing those patterns
Mhm.
again. If I bring that up to you and you're telling me and your immediate thought isn't, "Hey, what can I do to fix that?"
Mhm.
That just proves that they don't really care about you. Like they're
Yeah,
not
true.
hearing you out, you know?
True.
And I'm not saying that you didn't care about them, but you didn't care enough in those moments to be like, "How can I fix this? How
Yeah,
can I
check
make this
myself
better?"
really
Yeah.
because like, and I was very, back and forth with it, push pull with it. So
Yeah.
like, say, my ex would come back home from work or whatever, or a situation saddened her, made her frustrated or mad. if it wasn't me causing that, I would try everything to like make, her feel better, cook and shit like that or whatever, or go out, take her out, you know what I mean? But if it was me causing the shit, I would really be dismissive as shit. You know what I mean? Like I think all guys need to kind of like
Take accountability for their part in the suffering.
yeah, just our for sure.
Yeah.
Because we can't make anyone else take their own accountability. It just happens when they want to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so a lot of the times we kind of be like, I feel like I was dismissive as fuck as well because like I wasn't getting the same treatment. I wasn't
Yeah.
like getting cared for. So it's just like, oh fuck, like all right, fuck you. You know what I mean? That's cute. You mad, but guess what? I was mad the other day, and you know what I mean? Like the fuck, you ate my
Yeah.
last fucking Snicker. Like what the fuck?
Un understood. And I think sometimes for me, like when I bring up a situation, it's not necessarily because I'm telling you you need to fix things. Like I don't need a solution. I just need you to hear me out.
Mm,
And I'll say that, you know. And I always try to keep this perspective of like, sometimes you don't have to understand me, we just need to agree to disagree on shit. And you're not wrong if you feel like what you need to do is just learn to understand yourself. Like, I never feel like that's a wrong answer. But don't disrespect me in the process and don't dismiss my feelings in the process. Acknowledge my feelings and accept that I'm valid in how I feel because you're valid in how you feel too. You know?
exactly. Don't fucking hurt me in the process. And a lot of people get shit twisted and start saying stupid shit like, don't judge me on my journey and this and that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
your journey, you're just trashing every fucking thing that's around you in your
e-
journey.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So I feel like, but all of it all relates to each other. Like, because even how you were saying, like with your kids and stuff, like I feel like you should also take into consideration, like, you don't have to just show them by how you date and like how you treat your significant other, but also how you treat them. Like, don't dismiss their feelings when they feel any type of way, especially when it comes to like your sons. Like, like I feel like a lot of people dismiss how boys feel when
Mhm.
they're young, especially. That's where it starts. Um, and they are always like, "Oh, tough it out." Like, don't
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's something that you should ever do to your boys because you're not going to do that to your daughter.
Right.
And it should I think that's kind of where shit can go wrong for a lot of men
Hmm.
is they get dismissed at a young age. And but yeah, like I mean that would be the only thing I could say. I don't even know how it is to be a parent, but I would think like me as a mother, I would want to show my kids how it is to be loved properly by loving them properly, not just showing them how I love their father properly. Like I want or
Yeah.
how their dad loves me. I want them to see it firsthand how I treat them and how I love them.
Hmm.
So, I mean, as long as you keep that mindset, I think you can have pretty decent human beings out here.
Straight up. That's really what you want is like you're representing me, kiddos. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't want no bad representation, no bad juju on my side and shit. It
Exactly.
all depends on, again, how you are with them. The, again, I think being a kid growing up, I did see a lot of dismissive shit with my people,
Yeah.
my parents and shit.
Yeah.
Um, just being uh being a son to like immigrant parents and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do shit over there different,
Yeah.
and when they moved over here, it was a whole different ball game. And I got to see a lot of changes and a lot, when my parents divorced, when I was like 12, like I see some real shit,
Yeah.
realistically reality hit for me at a young age, and I'm just like, all right, this is what it's like to be in a relationship. Like, okay, like I
Yeah.
was just like, okay, because all I had knowledge of about relationships before then was just movies and TV.
Yeah. And I mean, I also feel like you for me at least, it's definitely difficult because my parents stayed together and you would think I'd have um the ideal like fucking example of what a relationship
Relationship.
is, but I feel like immigrant parents in general, like they're very hard on us and dismissive of our feelings all the time. But yeah, like as a child of immigrant parents, like they were very dismissive of how I feel. But also, they just didn't have the time because they're always working. And
Yeah,
I mean, but that in itself is dismissing me and how I feel. So, um, I think I always say, like, I don't wanna be like my parents when I have kids, but, I mean, obviously parts of
We kind of are.
how they love me
Yeah.
yeah, and, like, how they love me somewhat actually made me into who I am, and it's not that I'm gonna replicate that and, like, do that to my children,
Mm.
but the good parts of what how they loved me is what I wanna take from it, and, just like in general, like, when you're healing and you're learning to love yourself and you're learning to love the people who formed you as a person, like, you have to accept all the shit. Like, you have to love yourself entirely for all the ugly shit that you have and all the good shit that you have.
Mm.
Same with your parents,
Right.
I have to love them for every single thing that they've done for me, even if it's something that didn't really benefit me. So, I mean, I'm definitely scared to have kids because I'm scared I'm gonna fuck them up.
Type.
But I think I'm a decent enough human that, my kids won't be too bad in the
You
world.
you probably be a kick-ass mama.
Thanks, I hope so.
Teach them how to pull up.
N
Teach
Imma teach them how to pull up because 'cause
them how
I'm
to
pull up
pull up.
queen, okay?
Straight up. Straight up. Man, I definitely think what you got going on as far as like suffering in silence, like it's fucking ill. And you got some shit. Like you really got some flame out here, some heat.
I appreciate it, I appreciate it. I wanna get better at, like I want a team of people that can help me with, like, production, editing, and, I wanna get some better lighting and, like, better, like, things accessories, like, with my camera and shit, like
Really easy for me to just hop on and just listen because like, we were friends on social media before and you was already like colorful as an individual, you know what I mean? From like whatever you post as pictures or whatever, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, appreciate that.
the music or whatever, like, oh, all right. So it was really easy for me to just click on the podcast and be like, all right, well, fuck.
I appreciate it, and I know there's a lot of people out here that are, discovering it and, like, rediscovering me as a person because it's been years since I've seen people, so I'm very grateful that people are, like, tuning in and, like, actually fucking with it because, I mean, I'm literally just yapping, literally just being myself on the pod.
Dude, and then this is literally the only podcast on my podcast list that's we talk about like domestic violence and like mental health and shit like that. Everything else is like comedy and shit and food and whatever the fuck. But like
Yeah.
it's good to have, healthy platforms like this, man.
I appreciate it, and, like, I would love to do a more comedic, like, podcast, but I'm not that funny, so, like, I mean, I love it, I love that people do it, but,
Look, I mean, I know it's like a serious issue, but like domestic violence can be funny, bro. Like, let's be for real. There's a thin line between comedy and like domestic violence, bro.
let me tell you, I'm always laughing about shit, and, like, I laugh at my trauma, but it's like,
Same here.
sometimes that's just how you heal, you know?
Yeah, because sometimes you just can't believe you did or said some shit, or you're
Ye
just like, wait, that played out like what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like that's like a movie shit.
Exactly, and I also feel like people, it's not like I wanna take everything so serious all the time, and, like, I just feel like I feel like we're just missing this. I just felt like this was a missing piece in the podcast world, like,
Mm.
having a different approach to how we talk about, like, domestic violence, 'cause I've listened to podcasts that talk about domestic violence or, like, share their stories and stuff, but no one's, like, really having, like, the true conversations of, like, breaking down where that all starts or, like, where it
Yeah,
affects you
little
mentally.
nuances, little, you know what I mean? Details at the club, at the bar, you know what I mean?
Yes, like, it
Planting seeds and shit.
yes, like, small stuff like that, like, I mean, I know people come on to podcasts and they share their stories about domestic violence, but they're not talking about, like, how it continues to affect you, and, like, honestly, mental health, it 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 doesn't just affect your romantic relationships, like, it literally affects you as how you interact with the whole world
Yep, at
in
work.
general.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And so it's something that I just found so much more important to me than, like, just sharing what I went through, but talking about how I've even progressed in my mental health, like, even who I was over the summer, I'm not the same person now. Like, I even listen to some of, like, my episodes. I go back and listen to a lot of my episodes, and I'm like, "Damn, I've really gone through a huge evolution from who I was then to who I am now." And sometimes I'm like, "Ooh," I'm almost cringe about, like, who I was just 3 months ago, But I'm like, it's okay because like I had to get through that phase to be here. And like I had to get through that whole little evolution to be who I am now. So I really I hope in the future, in future episodes, that I can actually bring some of the same guests back to talk about where they are now,
Oh yeah, you should.
you
That'd be
know,
dope. It'd be fun.
because I want to see how mental health has changed for them, and
Right.
hopefully they're in a better space, or like hopefully they're reaching their personal goals that they have for themselves mentally and emotionally. So I'm looking forward to where this is gonna go.
Definitely. Me too, Stop. No sob stories, all right?
No more. Well, I'm gonna try and refrain from those as much as I can. But yeah, I appreciate you honestly supporting and listening and now being a guest on the show. Like
No,
it's
thank you.
it's been amazing. Like I feel like we had some really good conversation, and like hopefully this is something that we can revisit maybe like in a few months or something.
Oh yeah, hopefully we can do some with art, like
Shit, that would be fucking
some
tight.
actual art. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like we've got experience, hands, painting and whatever the fuck.
Yo, that
Music even, because weren't you making beats too for a minute?
no, I used to sing. So I would just that was my thing. I do want to learn to make beats, but I'm giving myself some time this winter to learn to relearn some instruments
Okay.
because I used to play instruments too when I was younger. So I want to pick up more challenging things like maybe acoustic guitar or
Okay.
something. So we'll see. But yeah, I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. So thank you guys again for tuning into another episode of Suffering of Silence. It's Sab and
Loso.
thanks for coming. And I'll catch y'all on all streaming platforms. And you'll find me on TikTok and Instagram at Suffering of Silence Pod. But for now, thanks for being subscribers.